This year, on an all-new episode of Idiot Royale, brought to you by the Idiot Savants. Join us for a Savantworthy Game of the Year in this year's biggest Trainwrecks, featuring host Ryan Wolf, Pokemaster Troy Osborne, Philbo Swaggins, Sammy the Babby, the Trash Man, and Colin frickin' Giffey.
It's time to do.
Can we get some Yugi?
I'm warning you. Don't fuck with me.
When I say it sounds cool. When you say it sounds like shit.
Come here and teach this guy a lesson, eh? Let's go!
We'll see how communities collide on Call of Duty, because those communities are pretty toxic.
Okay, well, you guys are fucking wrong.
Fucking idiots! How many times do I have to sit you all down and explain?
Get to the chopper! No, it's shot down.
I'm a gamer first and foremost, and I'm a worker second.
Jesus Christ, Sam, you fucking lost your mind.
I'm here. I'm on the podcast now.
Surprise, motherfucker.
What the fuck are you doing? You made every motherfucking mistake you could have possibly fucking made to get here. Is this just the end?
This is the end. It's the end game.
Welcome, everybody, to Crazy Train of Thought, brought to you by the Idiot Savants. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am your host, Ryan Wolf. We are live from Savant Studios. Joining me today, I have...
Pokemaster Troy Osborne
That'll
is here.
work. That'll work.
There's the energy.
There's the energy. Next,
Philbo Swaggins from the Shire.
Philip Swaggins is here. Thank you for being here, Philip.
Glad to.
Big poopy baby.
Big Poopy Baby joins us. Sam the
isn't it
Babby.
Big Poopy Babby?
Big Poopy Babby is here. Glad to have you here, Sam. Next,
The Trash Man.
Austin Torres joins us, the Trash Man. Thank you. And stand-in Danny DeVito in case Austin runs out of stuff to talk about. The Trash Man.
Trash Man.
Throwing garbage.
Next,
Mitch. I'm back again for this year's episode.
it's good to have you, Mitch. You're a sparse contributor to the pod.
You guys didn't invite me back, so I just thought I'd show up. same time as last year.
Colin frickin' Giffey.
Colin freaking Giffey joins
Featuring
us.
Mitch. I split personality every time we do one of these for some reason.
Yeah. So obviously,
bipolar.
obviously, we're here for Game of the Year. So for those of you that didn't check out Game of the Year last year, what we are going to do, check out last year's Game of the Year because it was phenomenal. So we have a list of games this year that we are going to sit down and hash out. There will be no voting. There will be
Losers.
discussions.
There will only be
Discussion.
fact, and I will provide it.
There can only be one.
There will be discussions
Five.
of the
There can
winners
only be five.
and the losers. And we've got a list of games here that everybody except for Sam has contributed to.
It's a big enough list without him bringing something forward.
That's
I will
true.
be your dad
Okay.
that walks in your room at 3 a.m. when you're playing video games. He says, "Why do you do this?" And you have to explain to him all the good games you've played, and he doesn't believe you.
Well, have him listen to this pod then. We've got 18-ish games on this list, I think is what I counted last night when I was separating these out. These are not in any particular order yet. Now, real quick, before we super get going here, guys, do you guys want to do the categories or do you want to just jump into the full list?
I'm gonna just jump into the full list.
Okay.
I don't know.
List, and then we'll see where we go.
We could probably use the categories to narrow down, maybe we can even rank the categories, because I'd say a story is more important than DLC. So
So the categories that we had were best story, worst gaming stuff, best DLC, and best visuals. So not a huge amount of categories.
But it's not a bad criteria to rate these things, honestly.
I probably should have put Ghost in best.
We would probably have to do the categories first then if you want to go that route.
Let's talk about best visuals with Cyberpunk 2077 on PS4. That's what
No,
I'm.
launch edition Xbox.
Launch edi-
Let me tell you.
Let me tell you.
Oh man.
That gave me a headache.
Yeah.
Look like PS2.
Yeah.
I was playing Tony Hawk's Underground 2,
It is worse.
but worse.
Okay, so obviously that didn't make it. Best visuals. but
A game that I want to put on there that's not up there right now.
okay, we got a late edition. Here we go.
Last of Us 2 is fucking beautiful. Honestly.
Best
Oh, it's on there.
visuals?
Okay.
Yeah, you did.
I couldn't
put it on
see
there.
those.
Somebody put a question mark on it.
I think I put the question.
I think that
Fuck that game.
is really, really pretty.
Okay.
No.
If you're Phil.
Thank you.
Yes.
No, it is pretty. It is pretty. It is.
Well, all right. So, do we start with categories then? Is that what I'm hearing?
I
I think
think
we can get through them quicker, probably.
Okay, let's do categories then. And do we want to start with best visuals since that has the most things on the list?
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Should
And so
open
we
the
are going to
challenge
do-
drink?
Hit it.
All right, let's see if this goes good.
Yeah.
ASMR with the Idiot Savant. Go follow our second podcast channel that I'm starting up. It'll
Just
be
opening drink.
It'll be ASMR with Giphy. It'll be right after my. It'll just be like
You ruined it.
me being like,
Gross.
Oh,
It's not
man.
even carbonated.
yeah. Wait, is it really not carbonated?
No, it's
How do you manage that? It's a Monster made tea.
Yeah, it's
See,
good.
It's good.
It's
I need to
hydraulic.
try that.
It
Energy.
extracted the hydrogen from
It was because
nitrous
I chugged
oxide.
it, so it shoved air into my stomach. It goes
Okay.
brrr.
All right, let's talk
Science.
about best visuals here. So I have, well, let's just run down the list here. So we've got best visuals: Moons of Madness, Neon Abyss, Last of Us 2, Doom Eternal, Tell Me Why, Dark Souls Remaster,
Demon Souls
Sorry.
remake.
Demon Souls. Okay, it says remaster. Demon
should
Souls
say remake.
remake, and Nexomon.
Nexomon Extinction.
Nexomon : Extinction. Yes, thank you, Troy.
that's Taco Bell : Extinction.
Extinction.
Why do we keep saying colon? That's something in the last year's episode we kept doing. Every putting colons in front of everything. You don't have
The
to say.
game has a
you don't-
colon.
You don't have to say colon.
But do you?
Colin, do you have a problem with colons?
I do.
What'd you say, Colin?
You're just
thunder
one
of your
L
name.
away, buddy.
Why you bullying me?
Okay, so I guess let's talk about one that can come off pretty easily.
Tell me why.
Tell me why. Tell me why is the next game.
a heartbreak.
Tell me why is the next game from the guys that made Life is Strange. Don't nod.
Yes.
And it is a continuation of what Life is Strange looked like. So the characters look hand drawn, but the spaces that they inhabit, the world that they inhabit, is rendered just beautifully. I actually
really-
put this one on the list.
I like the way Tell Me Why looks.
So you start off and you play as a pair of twins, and you play as the one is a transgender guy, and then the other is your sister, and you play as both of them at different parts of the game.
Spoilers.
Okay.
I only made it to where I played as the first person in there, the girl in her bedroom, and then the dude in his bedroom, and that was
Okay. I got you.
Good job, Troy.
Yeah, that's not very far at all.
Do you know?
So-
Want to know where I played it at?
In your bedroom?
I was running, I was running.
bedroom.
I was running sound at church for a funeral.
Ah, okay. Excellent. Weren't paying attention at all.
And there comes the music, the somber music, and it goes, "Tell me why."
So I'm just going to pull this up
Oh,
here.
they pulling up the song.
That's licensed. We can't.
Just jam out.
So
for a
this is
bit.
one of the main shots from the game. And this is the transgender character. Austin, do you remember their name?
Tyler.
Tyler, thank you. And this is actually the shot that I wanted to reference because this is them on the boat as they're sailing up towards their home. It's on an island, right?
Yeah.
Their home's on an island. So they're
Alaska,
sailing
right?
across.
Alaska.
Yep, in Alaska. And they're sailing across the channel to get to their home that's on the island.
It looks like
So-
the background was painted by Bob Ross himself.
It is
Yeah.
it is beautiful.
It's very true.
So this is the two characters together. This is one of the main shots. This is in their house. I think this is actually in the shed
Yeah.
that they have to investigate. So the characters are rendered really, really nicely. And what really struck me was the water. You can't really see it in that shot because it's kind of blurred out. But the water is fucking beautiful as you're sailing to the island. And like, I spent time on that boat just like looking around. Because kind of a somber moment, and your character, Tyler, is referencing things that he's kind of remembering from his childhood. And he's like, oh, I haven't been here since X happened and stuff like that. And he's looking at some of the posters that are on the ship, because there's like a bulletin board, like a message board. And it's just this really cool moment of like reflection and story building and world building of like, what are you returning to? What is Tyler going to find when he gets back there? Like, obviously, Alaska's more of a conservative state. So, like, him being a transgender man, how is that going to affect his story as he gets in? And, like, on the ship is the first time, I think it's the first time that you meet anyone in the game that has maybe not really encountered a transgender person before. So when you first talk to that guy on the ship, this isn't really visual, but he says, he says the twins, I thought those twins were girls. And Tyler's like, they were. And then he just leaves it at that. Like they were.
And he goes, wait a minute.
and then the character kind of realizes, he's like, oh, all right. He just kind of like recognizes that this is the situation here, that they're no longer girls. But yeah, that boat and the house that you first investigate, that's all really rendered beautifully. And the scenes,
you know, that's something. Okay, so I have something to speak to that. So a lot of visuals. Okay, for instance, like Avengers is considered like this great. Visually super appealing because of all these different effects in that. But like some of the things I appreciate the most, especially when I watch anime and stuff, is how well detailed, simple, like very homely things can be drawn or rendered. For instance, like nothing makes me more satisfied than watching just like a really well drawn kitchen or a really well drawn just like someone making something like an anime. It just looks
kills
beautiful.
it with making food.
Yeah, and just like for a video game, that it's not just like a bunch of like fire particle effects, explosions that look like semi decent and they look like crap when you pause the frame. But the amount of attention and detail that you could put in just a little mundane things, just like it makes. Because for instance, like just a room can be. Just a room can be bigger than the entire scope of some action-packed game.
Right. And that's a lot of what you get in this game is a lot of like attention to detail in the renderings of the world. And they've always been really good at that, like story building through the things that you find in the world. But I think this game does a lot, especially in this scene, to just take it to a whole nother level. And to include things like, and it's easy to find the stuff in the world. They want you to find those story beats, but what do you think, Austin?
Yeah, they want you to experience everything this beautiful game has to offer. I mean, like we're walking through the snow, talking to other characters in the game. I mean, it's all
the rain.
Yeah, I mean the water, the sweat on their face. I mean this game is it's visually better than Life is Strange.
100%. Yeah. They really upped their game.
They really did up their game, and they're only getting better at this.
Like I can see some of the softness in terms of some of the textures and how the quality's a little bit lower, but there's something that kind of works more so than it should. Like, cause obviously I can tell, like, cause they don't have a huge budget to just jam quality, but it still looks really good, even because I'm like trying to look at what to tear apart in terms of quality, and even though again I can see some of like the lower quality in that, but it still kind of comes together and looks pretty nice with that.
Yeah.
So, are there bears in the game? Are the bears look good?
They mentioned bears like 6 times, but I've only beat the first chapter, so I'm not really sure about the bears.
Because that's how I rate my Alaskan games.
How does it render bears?
They draw bears. There's like a notebook with bears drawn in it.
We need bears. How good did they draw the bears?
How well do you draw?
Okay, so I'm not putting this in my top. Visually, it looks very pretty.
Yeah, tell me why it looks good. Fuck.
Because it does.
I guess I was going to argue for that to go, but maybe not. Maybe I just talked myself into it.
You know, you do this every year. You do this every year.
this. Yeah.
You're like, I've got like ones I want there and ones I don't want there, and you talk yourself into the ones you do want, and then you end up fighting. It's us fighting for the ones that you wanted in the first place, the ones you wanted to get rid of.
That definitely does not sound like you wanted to let it go. You came in like, oh man, this is so great.
Well, looking back on it, it was cool. Is there any? What about anybody else? Pick one there.
I can go for Neon Abyss.
Okay, go ahead.
That game is, I mean, it's very neon, and for it to be as like, it just looks nice as a neon type of a game. The whole, like, when you're down in the dungeon, like your character has a neon mask on, and it just from different, I don't know, the whole game, it looks.
Did it feel like you were in a Jabberwocky concert?
It felt like I was in a Jetpack Joyride type of concert. I mean,
yeah, I could see Jetpack Joyride.
This is what I was.
Describe the visuals here. What kind of game is it?
It is a side-scrolling platformer that is.
It's a bullet hell.
Man,
it's bullet hell mixed with what do you call that?
Castlevania.
Roguelike.
Metroidvania, roguelike.
Yep.
Yeah.
Metroidvania, yeah.
And when you die, it's dead cells, like where you have to upgrade your character when you die.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's also just kind of in the roguelikes.
Yeah.
I think the neon effects on the pixel stuff is super cool.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of games do this. Cloudpunk did this. I think Neon Abyss does it better than Cloudpunk managed to. But I mean, I do like it. I obviously,
it's neon.
I do all the graphic design for the podcast, so I really like the way neon things look together.
Yeah.
It's just an aesthetic that I really, really enjoy.
It's really cool looking, but I don't think it stays on the.
I was just thinking that, like, just because it's my personal preference, like.
Yeah, like I like the way this looks, but I can think of a couple things on this list that look better.
Yeah, I wouldn't
that
put it
aren't
under best. It looks really nice.
That aren't
style, but
like they're not
in the categories. Maybe not best.
Yeah, this is not the best of this category.
So would you say, okay, so in a lot of games, flashy lights and bright colors are usually, there's a psychology behind it that it's a reward.
Yeah.
When you get bright lights, flashy colors, it's a reward, meaning you did good or something like that. But a lot of games overdo that, where they'll just spam flash bang. You're just stunned by all these different colors and stuff, and it's not rewarding at all. But would you say this has like a fair balance where like it looks good when it happens, and it's not, you don't need it all the time?
You definitely it's a reward.
It is a reward.
For sure.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
like you build up your character and you build up your guns, and when your guns get better, they have bigger flashes of light that
right.
All those pixels get bigger and brighter and more neon as you progress to the game.
So it lets you sort of like, it makes you want more of the visuals, and it rewards you with those when you get better at the game. And it's not something that just like gives it to you, and it's not just in your face all the time.
No.
Not like seizure inducing.
Cyberpunk.
That's for a different reason.
Yeah. Does anyone think any of those have better visuals then? Tell me why.
Nexomon.
Nexomon, the thing about Nexomon is how fucking smooth it runs.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
like
that's what I would put. Like I was playing it and I was like, oh, these visuals are kind of fun, and I'm like, whoa, this is smooth.
Yeah.
Yes. I love.
All right, let's see it.
Okay. Let me get Nexomon pulled up here.
It's like garlic butter.
I'm gonna go to this
garlic butter.
True.
Yeah.
Like this game.
It's like regular butter, but better.
It's like if you were to put your hand through like body temperature butter.
So think of this, guys. You know how prepared Ryan is for. You guys know how prepared Ryan is for Game of the Year, right?
His face.
I don't know. I don't think
was
I like
worth that comment.
Oh, this is the game that you want me to play.
Yes.
wouldn't feel
Troy.
it. You just wouldn't feel it. It'd be
So is this like
Go get the butter real quick.
is this a PlayStation exclusive? Or
No,
It's on
It's on everything. So this is kind of the beginning of the game here in the trailer. But in terms of the visuals, like it's all cartoonishly drawn. I think it kind of looks like
2D sprites,
like an upgraded version. It's in a direction that Pokemon could have gone and didn't.
Yes.
So it plays like a 2D Pokemon game, but it looks nothing like that at all. The battles are really well animated. I think that the sprites are all really well hand-drawn sprites. And I want to even hesitate to call them sprites.
Yeah, they're not sprites.
Because sprites implies that it's pixelated, and this super isn't. Like, everything is drawn really, really nicely as it plays through the game.
I also was curious about what of it is 3D, because as I'm playing the game and like looking at some of it, there's definitely some of it that is 3D. It's just how they have cell shaded it and given it a frame rate that makes it look 2D. But some of the stuff is definitely 3D, because I'm watching the battles and I'm like, how he's turning his head, that's 3D.
Yeah. And
whatever they did was good, because it's hard for me to tell, but I'm like, that is 3D.
Yeah.
It's just hard to tell.
It's
as an anime aficionado and a connoisseur of great frames.
I think this is a game that Sam would love to just watch us play.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at stuff and I could tell when something's cheaply made and when something's, obviously some effort was given. And so when it comes to like these different sprites, so obviously you have a template for this character here and it looks like a crocodile, but one thing that I look for if I know a scene's going to be good is the care they put into it. So if one thing's moving and they're just kind of hovering or bobbing up and down to symbolize movement, it's cheap. Or if they're like sort of like they're waving or something, it's just like one singular movement and there's nothing else moving, but it's just to draw your attention to one thing that's moving, the action. It feels kind of cheap, but when you look on these things and there's more than one thing moving independently of the other things, and it's not just some individual thing to draw your attention or just like cheaply drawn, I feel like it looks like I lost my train of thought. But basically what they did was that it's not some static picture that they just kind of put a wavy effect on to make it look like it's moving to entertain you. It looks like they have more than one facet of motion there.
That's why to me it seems like it's some form of 3D that then you modify it with forms of cell shading and colors and I lost what I was going to say. The frame rate. Right? How you do the frame rate can make it look kind of like how they did Dragon Ball FighterZ. Because that's 3D, but the way they did the frame rate, and they did some things where like they drew on the actual animation.
Yeah.
So it looks like it is hand-drawn, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it kind of just has
2.5D, is that what that's called?
I think
kind of. It's a mix, because there's definitely some things that are 2D. Like you can tell some things were drawn, and then some things are. It's a mix.
Okay. Well, that sounds like there's a lot of support there for Nexomon.
Yeah.
In terms of like being a 2D game, I would put that really high, especially because it seems like there's a lot of passion.
Yeah.
Just the visuals of that game alone blew me away. Like I play a lot of Pokemon games, and I love looking at that type of a game. But then I saw that trailer and I was like, this is like my game on steroids. And I love it.
Would you say there was a sharp contrast going back and forth between Nexomon and Pokemon? Like,
yes.
So like it's like jarring where you're like, this looks really good, and then you sort of get used to it and you go back to Pokemon, you're like, this is pen and paper. Like,
yeah. Like
I would say even the new Pokemon games do not look as nice as Nexomon Extinction.
Does not.
They were trying in Nexomon.
And and like I'm not saying they weren't trying in Pokemon, because I like the direction that they're taking that art style, but it doesn't look nearly as smooth. The colors don't pop nearly as much.
No.
Like there are parts of Nexomon Extinction, even though it's just like top-down side-scrolling, that I was like, fucking damn.
Yeah.
When you get to the Dragon Island, like everything is like hues across these open landscapes and stuff, and fuck, does that look nice.
My favorite place to go so far has been the Ghost Town.
Yeah.
Because that is really well lit, and it's dark,
it's
but
really well
everything's lit up.
shaded.
Yes.
Yes. So it sounds like Nexomon probably stays. I am going to take Doom Eternal off this list. So I put this on
What if
here.
I want it?
Did you play Doom Eternal?
I didn't.
Okay. I think Doom Eternal looks really good.
Yeah.
And what they have managed to get out of the old consoles, because I played this on last gen, is phenomenal. Especially with the sense of scale that they have in this game. A lot of the environments
they're huge.
They're huge.
Yeah.
And the verticality of the levels is great.
Verculosity.
It's a new Pokemon.
Verticalistness.
Verticalist? No, that's not enough. Vertical.
That's that MTV thing. Verculousness.
Got it. And I think what they're trying to do in terms of improving those visuals from Doom 2016 is really incredible. But I would pick Nexomon over it. I think I'd pick Tell Me Why over it. And the other one that I put on this list was Moons of Madness, and I think I would pick Moons of Madness before Doom Eternal.
Well,
unfortunately.
I know if it's anything like the movie starring Dwayne Johnson,
it is exactly that.
It not only wins this category, but the rest of them.
If you smell.
Oh my God. Yeah, so I think Doom Eternal can go. I love it, but
is anyone else for something other than those two? Come on and tell me why.
If you show me a shot of Demon Slayer or not Demon Slayer, Demon Souls
remake, like I'm down to defend that.
Yeah, that honestly, like,
kind of waiting for Troy to pop in and be like,
okay,
Last of Us 2.
So when people first heard about
game is
this,
awesome looking.
So there was a Dark Souls came out, and then the Dark Souls one, and then they remastered it, right? And so people were really, really upset when they came out with Dark Souls
like
remastered.
The second trailer.
Because when you take a
Maybe
look
it was
at
in
it,
the first one,
they updated just the textures just like a tiny bit.
This one I got my cursor
that one
on?
right there. Yeah.
Oh, are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was just
keep going.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the Dark Souls remastered edition was basically like a slight upgrade where you can barely tell. It was like looking at a regular TV and a 4K TV, and you're like, well, they tell me one's better, but I can't tell.
The potato was less
that's
pixelated.
a remaster.
Yeah.
This is a full-blown remake of a 2009
Exactly. So this game completely is just like revamped, redone from the bottom up.
Completely remade.
It looks so good. It's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like even like better than the stuff like Dark Souls 3.
Oh yeah.
It blows that out of the water. It blows even.
That does look really cool.
Yeah.
It even blows, I think, Sekiro out of the water, only just because I think the glowy aesthetics in this look really.
And I mean, this
nice.
is PS5.
Wow.
So it has some more juice.
I thought this was a gameplay showcase. Where's a fucking game?
This is the gameplay. This is in the game.
Oh
You're
wow.
playing.
Oh wow. That actually does look really cool.
And the cool thing, like with this one, is, I mean, they're going through some patches and making it even stronger, but it has a dynamic 4K with 60 frames.
Yeah, it is silky smooth on your TV that is old.
Yeah, this TV is from 09. I want you guys to know that right
when
now.
the first Demon Souls.
This TV is as old as this original fucking game.
I would say this is not only butter at room at human temperature.
Oh, come on.
Now, you need to get to the end because the lighting on the boss is insane.
Oh, boss lighting?
Yes.
Boss
the
lighting.
lighting on
That is an official
boss.
art.
Yeah,
by
since
the
we're
way.
bringing it back to
Boss.
2009.
Go back.
It's lighting.
A little bit
Like,
I do remember
right
this
in
boss.
Because everything was just muddy and yellow in the original. The lighting was all the same, and it was hard to tell where stuff was.
It should have been called Dark Souls instead of Demon Souls.
So you
But
know,
just
Can't see anything. It's too
look.
dark.
do you know the way that like the Sistine
Wow.
Chapel, the ceiling was painted and it kind of got yellowed over time and it got restored eventually? That's basically what happened here. So it was all like yellow and candle stained over
I love that you are comparing Demon Souls to one of the greatest masterworks of all time, the Sistine Chapel.
Why are you bringing Skyrim into this?
I was gonna say that dude just got wrecked. dude.
Yeah.
Oh my
Jeez.
God.
But yeah, just because I've played the original, which was 2009, and I'll just go straight the original. Having known those visuals, which at the time I thought looked good because it was fucking 2009, and I didn't realize how hard it was to just know where stuff was because everything looks the same, everything's muddy, it's hard to see. And then in this, the character design is better, the lighting is insane, the effects for everything is just nuts. Like the spells, everything. There's nothing that is, oh, that's okay.
That's some real nice fire there, Philip.
Oh.
That game has nice fire.
Now to get
It looks really cool.
to get combative, if we've put a cap on this one, what I was talking about before with Tell Me Why, right? Versus like we were talking about this, like the particles and stuff. Like it looks really flashy, really, really good. But if you micro like nitpick and you like look at different frames and you look at just like the regular textures on the wall, if you're not focusing on the flashy dance, smoke and mirrors, it can look cruddy. I'm
Sometimes
guessing.
literally smoke and mirrors.
Literally smoke
Well,
and
then
mirrors.
bring up some screenshots from. That was of Demon Souls. That was what I've done too. Is the pause and look and
and this is what I'm saying. Like this is the perfect contrast. I say this is perfect battle between like bright and flashy and well done, textured, like homely. Just well done.
Yeah, I agree, Sam. There are definitely going to be some contrasts here, just given how differently these games look in terms of visuals.
I mean, like obviously this is a very different style.
Yeah, and that's something to bring up too.
Like when we go to action and flashy, I would put this very high because even when you pause, which I've done, photo mode, all that stuff, and look at things, it's insane. And I was impressed, and I wasn't like, oh, that texture's bad, that blah blah blah. Now everything looks beautiful.
I'm going to get a little subjective here.
Okay.
So, for instance, if you took like off at your workplace simulator or something like that, right? And you gave it the same graphics as Cyberpunk.
Okay.
Or, what Cyberpunk's supposed to be.
All right.
Would you
Neon
say
dicks.
it's more visually appealing than this game in 2009? For instance, okay, so like the imagination, the character design, so all the different things, the art, for instance. Okay, so your workplace simulator is going to be is not going to be visually stimulating. It's not going to be visually appealing. It's going to look crisp and it's going to have good graphics, good polygons, whatever. But a very boring looking game, right?
Okay.
Comparatively, not saying that Tell Me Why is boring. For instance, it's got this whole grand aesthetic. Alaska's like one of the most beautiful places in the world.
Yeah.
It's got that going for it. Thanks, Alaska. Thank you, Bob Ross.
Bob Ross made the backgrounds.
This game is, this whole series of games, like the Souls games, are just notorious for like just really, really good art. Really good art.
The aesthetic.
If
Really
even
good
just-
art, but like, this has nothing to do with the remake, but the original Demon Souls and even Dark Souls look like shit.
Yes.
Well, no. And what I'm talking about is in general. So, like, if you were to take like their concept art, for instance, and you just slap that next to like Tell Me Why
So
concept
it's like
art,
artistic style.
stylistically, it looks very appealing, and I would say that's an aspect of visuals is the art.
Sure. Yeah.
So is that for the Demon Souls remake?
I would say it's for the Demon Souls remake because just it's so visually appealing. But then again, that's what I was talking about. It's a bit subjective based on what you like, virtual Alaska or, some a fantasy genre.
I will
not
say
everybody's cup of tea.
In terms of the Tell Me Why, like I haven't seen much, and I've seen some of Life is Strange, and so I know that those tend to be terms of lower quality. So I actually was impressed with the Tell Me Why because it looked better than I was expecting.
Right.
And it does have a lower quality when it comes to crispness, but it still, I'm like that.
It looks nice.
It's consistent.
It
At
is
least it's
consistent, and together, I think it really pops, like all of the textures on the fabrics. And like in the book, Austin, you talked about the book earlier, and we can get into that maybe in the story part, but like it looks like it's drawn on paper, and like it looks like hand-drawn pictures from kids, which is really cool. And I think a lot of the elements within like the visual elements helping to tell a story could be considered an element of visuals too that contribute to the game. I think this list is probably Tell Me Why, Demon Souls, and Nexomon.
For Demon Souls, I also want to say I was kind of in the same feel, whereas Demon Souls I was expecting a lot, but then I kind of got more because I've just been like, holy crap, this just, and I've been playing it, which the effects in comparison to things where you could be lazy, like the spell effects, you shoot a spell and it looks good, sounds good, feels good, and the quality behind everything there's not a misstep where a lot of times these things just don't have the like the care and energy, because obviously this is a remake by Blue Point, and they're putting forth effort because they got to try to make a name for themselves.
I thought you said Karen energy.
Oh, Karen.
And I don't want any of that on the podcast.
This is all the Karen energy I have.
Oh, Karen.
Like when you're nurturing.
I did.
Lend me your strength.
Get me the manager.
Oh, me, your
Manager. This coupon is expired.
I want it anyway. But so you're talking about how the visuals can tell a story.
Yeah.
One thing, and this is going against the original and being fourth wide great in the new one. Demon Souls is completely visual with every terms of where you go, how the story's told, and everything. Because it's not a crazy amount of story. So all of it in the original 2009 version, visually, it's very hard to figure out where you are, figure out where you're going, because everything's muddy, yellow, it all blends together because it's a 2009 PS3 game. In the remake, what they did with cleaning up everything, and in Demon Souls, the only way to know where to go is to visually follow cues. It's because it's a straight path with twists and turns.
So it's more distinguishable where you are.
Yes, it's more distinguishable. It's easy to tell where we're going. The character designs are better. Everything is just beautiful, and it's so easy to be like, okay, that's where I gotta go. It's like, oh, that's what the fuck that was.
Does that matter? So comparing it to the old one, does that matter in terms of the best visuals of 2020, or should we take it as how to, you put it against the games that came out this year?
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
I would
Fair
say
enough.
so because it looks. To me, I put it as best visuals because that's what I feel, and that's one of the things that shows that why visuals are super important and how they work in this game and look amazing. If you didn't have those visuals, like I didn't have before, I got lost so much because I couldn't tell what anything was. And in the new game, you can tell what stuff is. The lighting's great, and it's just breathtaking. And I was constantly blown away.
It assists and aids the gameplay rather than replacing it and replacing gameplay totally, where some games would, just say we have really good graphics.
Right.
Play our game,
One or
game's
the other.
garbage. Yeah.
I see.
But I see you holding an extra card in your hand, the last leg of Exodia. Would you mind playing Yugi Boy Moons of Madness?
What?
You haven't talked about Moons of Madness.
Oh,
Why did you just
He
say
took that
it
off
like
the list
that?
already.
Yugi Boy, play Moons of
staying on the
Madness,
list?
would you?
Okay. Do you want me to play a video?
Do you think it's
If he wants to take it off the list, he can.
So, Moons of Madness, like I said, that was one I put on. I love the way this looks. So it's a horror game done kind of like Outlast, where you are running from a monster. There is not a whole lot of player engagement with the world, but it really goes some places. So you start in a really well rendered Mars facility, and like everything about it makes you feel like you are in a NASA Mars facility.
Like Matt Damon.
Like Matt Damon is there. He's growing his fucking potatoes.
He's
You have
on him.
ketchup? Do you have enough ketchup?
I didn't see the movie.
or
I
some
don't know.
crushed Vicodin?
I read the book, so
Runs out of
There was
ketchup and
no
is upset.
pictures in that book.
they do not mention the ketchup in the book. But it's, I guess it's probably better than that. Like it all looks a little bit more futuristic than what's in that movie, but still in a plausible way of like, okay, all this looks like it's real space shit.
It's not like freaking holograms just floating around for the whatever reason. It's grounded.
And a lot of the stuff, like you can pick up the pamphlets and read all of the pamphlets. There is, but like that stuff that's contributing to the story, in most games, they wouldn't bother rendering those things.
That's true. That's
So
true. Just be
that's-
little scribbles that are like,
Exactly. And you can read them straight from those. There's a lot of handwritten notes and stuff like in the margins, and that's all really well done. When you get to the point where the game starts to become about madness, that is one way that the character who is going mad, that gets conveyed through those handwritten notes, is like you start at normal scientist notes, and then it progresses worse and worse. He starts doing like drawings of murders and like all this weird text and like crossed out occult symbols. And like,
yikes.
As it progresses through, you're like, oh, fuck, this person is losing it.
Kind of like back in the original Resident Evil. He's a guy, he gets bit and then he's making notes and slowly becomes a zombie as he's writing these notes.
Yeah, I'm sure other games have done it too, but like Moons and Madness is the first game that I've played where I was really impressed by what they were putting together in terms of like, you know, let's call it like 2030 space visuals, like all that stuff looked like it was just far enough in the future to be believable. And I really like what it's doing. I didn't finish the game. So I hate to take it off, but I don't think it hangs as well as Demon Souls probably does, but Moons and Madness is worth playing. I hope it comes to Game Pass. I think it's probably more of a Game Pass game. And it's been on sale a couple of times, but Moons and Madness looks good.
It seems in our visuals it might be Tell Me Why against Demon Souls.
You said we're not voting this year. How are we doing?
We don't vote, but we all have to just come to an agreement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One person,
Troy, you
one
want to
person
defend
may not
Last of
agree,
Us
though.
2? Because I won't.
I mean,
it looks amazing. I'm not going to lie, but that's all I'll say.
Nothing
the
nice
part,
to say. Fucking
We're gonna talk about visuals. This is the visuals argument.
The parts of that game that I've watched you play. I played it a little bit.
Watch me play.
No, I didn't. Did you play it?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Visually, the best part is when I got to jump down that hole and just
The snow and how you like when you're walking through the snow, it leaves the tracks. Just little things like that like immerse you a little more. I think in that game really pop. Like, crawling over different things and how you're like the horse going through the mud and the snow, the water. It just all looks.
There are horses in this game?
There's.
All right, we find a winner.
There's a horse.
I mean, there's a
couple.
Couple of them.
Are there any centaurs?
No.
Not yet.
This game is getting best visuals because of the snow and horses.
I mean, I'm not saying it's the best. It is a very pretty
worth
game
mentioning.
and it's definitely worth
I
mentioning.
could definitely argue and give examples as to why it beats everything on this list, but I will not. Does not deserve it.
Well, now you're legally obligated to.
It's not.
It's not about story. It's about best visuals.
Now that you've said something,
We'll hold you to your word.
I mean, again,
Or
I
you will walk
just
the
said
plank.
it definitely could beat everything on this list, but it.
You know what? I think it wins.
I disagree.
Because Phil says it. Oh wow!
Sources cited.
Might
Phil
be on
said.
board for that.
I'm gonna pull a classic mom move.
If Phil jumped off a cliff, would you too?
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, I would totally.
I think it's Last of Us 2, Demon Souls, and Nexomon.
If I had to
But I'm
go
gonna tell me
personally
why.
in terms of my quality, I could put Demon Souls above Last of Us 2 because like I did have issues. The cutscenes and a lot of the like actual effects in the game are crazy. The body, whatever it is, but everything that they did with the destruction of a human being is groundbreaking. But there are many
Are
moments
you talking
where
about when Joel dies?
well, no, I'm talking about actual, like, for example,
Fucking spoilers.
sorry, 2 hours into the game. This game is about them too. Fuck you.
Before
Anyway,
we get too much further, Phil, I think Austin is the only one who's played the three that we're talking about besides Nexomon. Last of Us, Tell Me Why, and Demon Souls. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know.
Nice.
So, okay.
Trash man.
So visually, I mean, Demon Souls would probably be better, only because there's no facial animations on anything really, other than like probably big blob monsters.
well, no, the NPCs do. They actually do pretty good. I was surprised. Like everybody in the Nexus that you talk to, because that in the original game nobody moves, nobody has anything because it's in that game, and in this one they have good emotions and they talk and.
He's got a really good point, though. Whenever I think of like the Dark Souls games or the Demon Souls games or Sekiro, I think of like, wow, look really good. But then you zoom in on like the Firekeeper and she looks like a clay doll. Like,
but like the armor and the way they look is really good, and then everything around them looks good. But I think that's where Last of Us 2 lacks, is some of their facial animations are kind of doo-doo. And they really focus on it too, thinking it's like, wow, look at their...
This is groundbreaking.
Yeah. It's like LA. And they look like this, you know?
Started blasting. No, but the example I was going to give for what Last of Us 2 does have, which is my favorite part, and what was fun, is as I said, the destruction of a person, not Joel. But for instance, I was fighting people and I shot someone in the face and it went into his eye socket. That was the only part where a hole appeared, and then his brain blew out into chunks, and like the head had pieces, and then it flew onto the wall and slowly dripped the chunks with physics.
Ew.
I'm taking it off.
It's pretty gross.
Yeah, just because it's gross sound.
No.
Gross. Did Valhalla not make this list?
That would be Austin's.
I don't think.
We got it on the main list.
I haven't played it,
the
but
visuals list.
Like, it's okay.
I would put Ghost of Tsushima on there before Assassin's Creed.
really?
Yeah.
I haven't played it, so I was just
Valhalla,
See,
it's okay.
I
the
just
reason
figured it
I would
looked really
argue
good.
Demon Souls over Ghost is because Ghost, like the contrast.
Well,
is
Ghost isn't on the list. You don't need to do that.
What I'm saying, why I'm.
But we don't need to do that because it's not on the list. We really need to stick to what's on the list for sure, because
If
we're
we're gonna
already
get-
an hour in and
Okay.
we haven't decided one fucking category.
Minecraft with the texture packs, though.
dude. Minecraft,
There we go.
Minecraft has ray tracing. Now.
ray
Did you know that?
tracing, the water
Oh,
with
like they brought
wheels.
this 4 years ago?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Tell Me Why has pretty much all of it, except for when you guys were saying that if you look really into it, you can kind of tell that it is hand drawn. But that's the thing; it is hand drawn. There's literally, somebody literally just like Bob Ross is just like, all right, guys, now we gotta put the little brush right across here, and
Am I gonna have to get a Bob Ross?
Yeah, I was about to say Bob Ross.
Yeah.
You have a Bob Ross pinup we can put.
I have a can up here. I have a Bob Ross energy drink.
Oh,
Hey.
I've heard that's actually good.
I didn't drink
I see
it.
it.
The
I
can
see
was
it
given
over
to me
there.
as a gift.
This is our Bob Ross right here. This man right here. Our Lord
You gotta
and
get
Savior.
yourself them little trees. They're happy.
So now that I'm saying it, I would say Tell Me Why, Demon Souls, Last of Us 2. And I haven't played Nexomon, but I mean, Nexomon does look good too.
I would put towards Demon Souls and Nexomon.
I would say Last of Us 2 looks pretty darn good with what he was
jeez.
talking about. But I just like, what I was going back with the art, I have to give it to Demon Souls just because of the art for me. It's just really creative.
Okay.
You sure you don't want to
What do you
vote?
want to do?
I would like to remove Last of Us 2. That's my vote, is to remove that one.
I think he's the only one that wants that though. Everybody else.
I mean, like I said, it's fine that it goes. I just wanted to be able to mention it because it is. When I started that game, I was like, "Damn, this looks good,"
And it does.
And I was playing on a regular base PS4.
Yeah.
There's
wasn't a pro
probably something to be said about it playing well on a base PS4 too.
Yes.
I will say, like, that goes into the cutscenes. When you go into the actual game, there is definitely a drop, which there is not that in Demon Souls because it's a PlayStation 5 only. And that is one thing that I did notice when playing Last of Us 2. There is a drop, as they always have, outside of cutscenes. It's the same with the first game. The first game's cutscenes look almost as good as Last of Us 2's cutscenes.
All right, I'm gonna shatter. Tell Me Why. I'm just gonna tear it to pieces. So, no matter the attention to detail, the amount of scope that you have and visual effort. So, Tell Me Why is a great game in its scope with its cutscenes and its small rooms and its things, and the attention to detail is great. But I would say on the verge of just like the massive scope, or a relatively massive scope, that I would say Demon Souls or just regular. I from what I know about these types of games is that they take you to a lot of different places and a lot of different visually aesthetic.
I don't think we can
schemes.
fault Tell Me Why because it takes place in Alaska.
Well, we're not. we're not.
I can agree with him. Like,
Alaska's boring. It's
That's
beautiful,
not what I'm
but
saying.
it's boring.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the things that you're seeing. I mean, obviously, your world is a lot smaller in that game than it is in Demon Souls.
Yeah.
Based off the amount of they did not have the time to put that much effort into a full world. They only had enough time to do with the things that you're interacting with in the cutscenes. So I mean, as far as like,
yikes,
yeah. And I mean, with Demon Souls, it's 5 worlds. You have a castle, you have a mountain iron like mining facility, you have a haunted mansion castle thing with Cthulhu beasts, you have a massive, disgusting swamp, and then you have like this island up in a mountain with like skeletons. They're all completely different in terms of aesthetics, and in this remake, they really take advantage of that. Instead of everything being muddy and yellow, still different because they're different locales, they all look completely different in terms of lighting, color, the enemies, and it's completely different locations, and they stick out as being different.
I think, but Nexomon is doing that same kind of stuff.
Just 2D. So I put Demon Souls the next. It just depends upon, do you want 3D or 2D? I'm equally impressed with both because for me, with the smoothness of Nexomon, if Nexomon wasn't as smooth as it is, I definitely wouldn't. But I like both.
I could agree with Demon Souls Nexomon and tell me why.
That's what's on the list.
What?
Well, we can. I think we can get rid of Last of Us 2.
I was saying that.
Oh, okay.
In that
Just
order.
have a top 3 of best visuals.
Oh, I was like, that's literally almost everything on the list.
Number 1.
Okay, out of the 3, I can agree with those 3.
I put 'em in
I would
order.
put Demon Souls as 1, and then probably tell me why in the Nexomon. Simply because Nexomon is 2D, but it is really good 2D.
I've listed my concerns and my things, and it is a toss up for me between Tell Me Why and Demon Souls. So I'm willing to move on.
You sound like you were stretching more towards Demon Souls.
I am
'Cause
very
you literally
much,
just
but
said,
I'm
"Hey, I'm shredding. Tell me why."
Well,
we can play that back if we need to.
Okay, are we doing a top 3? Is this our top 3?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do a top 3. That's fine. I mean, I think personally, like kind of like going back to what Sam was saying, where it's subjective in a lot of cases. I think Nexomon looks incredible. I think the way that the colors work together and the shading and the amount of work they did into like the ghost town you were talking about, like with the fog in different places, and the fog floats through in cool ways. And
I like
all of that looks so good.
The way the battles just look nice, depending on where you're at too.
Yeah, how the background of the battle changes to where, if you're in a different location, like there's a different ghost location. And it's not even world by world. It's like if you're in a room, well, now you're battling inside of a room.
Yeah.
Later in that game, you go to a underground, or I guess it's underwater city, and like all of that just looks rendered really nicely. There's like piles of trash all over because it's supposed to be this kind of like dilapidated thing. And all of that looks really, really good. I mean, I think that they probably put more work into Demon Souls, but I like Nexomon better.
I mean, these are all very different genres.
Yeah, they're all doing 3 very different things. So I mean, I guess I'd be fine with Demon Souls winning it. I don't want it to, but if that's how everybody else feels, it's not just my vote.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Demon Souls wins.
So
Best visual.
That's because the big poopy baby cried a lot.
My only question is, can we change
That's
that
me.
from
I'm the big
remaster to
poopy
remake?
So here we go. That's our order right there.
Does anyone think that any of those 3 games, because we're already talking a lot about them, is a contender for top 5?
I mean, I have Demon Souls in it. But I'm going to put more of an arguing towards Ghost than Demon Souls.
So for me, Tell Me Why would not be in the top 5. I think Tell Me Why in terms of story does a lot of really cool things with a transgender character. I think it offers a huge amount of like respect for that particular community that usually gets marginalized. And that is the most impressive thing to me about it. And obviously I'm a fan of Don't Nod's games, so I like the way they tell stories. And they do a lot in this game, just like they did in Life is Strange, with world building through things that you find and the character interacting with you as the player, where they're basically talking to themselves, but they're talking to you as the player. And I don't want to say it's just another one of those games, but it's kind of another one of those games. What do you think, Austin? I think you played it probably more than I did.
No, I definitely agree. I 100% agree with what you just said.
Is there anything?
Or should we take it away from the list? Just kind of subtract.
Well, that's what I'm kind of thinking. Is there anything else that you would like to say about Tell Me Why that we haven't addressed already?
No, I mean I pretty much predicted what was going to happen.
Did you?
By like chapter 2, beginning of it, I was like, all right, this is that person, that's that person, and it ended up being right.
Is it impressive enough to spoil it and talk about it to make top 5?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, I didn't play beyond the first chapter, so I couldn't say one way or the other. But people should play Tell Me Why.
No, yeah, go play it.
I mean,
it's
on Game
It's not a bad game.
Yep.
Is what we're trying to say.
It's just
So
not
play
enough
it.
narrative.
Honorable
Top
mention, go play it.
Game Pass on your phone. You can do that.
Right.
This game is touch control compatible.
Best DLC, we only have 2 nominations, so I'm just going to remove that category.
Yeah.
It can go to
Pokemon.
Pokemon. Borderlands 3, like it does some cool stuff. I think they're both fine.
We'll attach a file to the bottom of this podcast. It's downloadable content.
Downloadable content. Our podcast says DLC now.
Is that Spider-Man Miles Morales though?
What?
DLC.
That
We'll take that out of being a contender and just put it as best DLC.
We could do that. I'll be good with
Honestly,
that.
I wouldn't even be mad about that. It's not even like a full game, right?
It's really good, but
It is
It's
good.
good. I've
It is
watched some of
good.
it. I haven't watched all of it.
I was impressed. Like I love
Play
it,
it. I
but
should play it.
it's
Yeah.
not enough.
Yeah.
okay.
So are we taking that out of not top 5?
Yeah.
Miles Morales?
I mean, I would not want it to be in top 5. It's
No.
not enough.
It's not.
it's not enough of a game.
No.
So best
it is.
DLC,
It is
Miles
like
Morales.
it plays better than the original for sure.
Not anymore. They just added it back for one game. So that game gets something.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about the worst gaming stuff or best story, or
Let's do best story, and we can address worst gaming stuff last, because that's more of an overarching kind of thing,
all right.
Game
rather than
Award.
specific to games.
Sorry, Last of Us 2 featuring the Game Awards.
All right, I
So-
got my argument.
Yeah. Where's Last of Us 2 on the
best
best
story.
story list?
It is. Oh, fuck off.
Oh no. It's a good story.
I have a winner of this category,
I do
and
too.
you guys aren't going to like it.
Yep.
Moons of Madness.
No.
No.
Cyberpunk.
It's Avengers.
Okay, let's just talk about the list. Who wants to address the list first?
I will talk about Cyberpunk.
Okay, hit it.
I think it should win best story because it has Keanu Reeves in it. I didn't play the game. I've seen gameplay.
Alan, this isn't best use of Keanu Reeves in a video game. No.
Okay, can we make that as a category? Just give that to Spire. Remove Cyberpunk
Think
from
of
everything
your
else.
top favorite movies. Keanu Reeves is usually in your top 10
Speed.
somewhere.
Break or
Don't even name
John
them.
Wick.
Don't do. Yeah,
Wick.
John Wick. Matrix.
Oh,
1, 2, 3.
4 or 5. Oh.
Freaking Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey, and then the newest one that I haven't seen yet.
At the Circle K.
All right. So I put Avengers and Nexomon on here, and I think I put Moons and Madness on here too, but that was before I played more Nexomon.
I'm
wow.
actually really. I'm already engaged in Nexomon. Like
Yeah.
I haven't even played
What's
it.
so
that
good about the like? Is it?
So,
It is
It's
very
like Pokemon
spoil
with a
it.
good story.
Don't spoil it for
Fun.
me.
so
I love Pokemon stories.
before we get too much further into best story, is there anything, because I see that it was primarily me that put things in this category. Is there anything else on the list that belongs in best story that maybe won't make the full list?
Call of Duty Warzone.
No.
I mean, that does
Like
have a story.
Assassin's Creed or Spider-Man or Ghosts or the
I'm gonna
Complex.
be arguing like hell for Ghost to be in top
Okay, so we
5.
don't need to talk about it for
I
best
think
story.
I think Valhalla has a pretty good start to the story. I haven't played much past the
Yeah,
start.
is there enough to argue for a best story? Because we haven't really. It's probably a long game, right?
It is a very long game.
Have
you played it?
He's
I haven't beaten
close.
it yet.
Yeah, okay.
I put like 60 some hours into that.
What would you
game.
say about the story so far?
It's basically you go into each like territory and basically making an alliance with somebody there, either by killing the king, who's ever of that territory, or helping that person, and then you get them to help you in the final battle or help you with claiming other territories.
It's like Total War.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, yeah, because you can do raids and stuff
Total
like
War,
that.
Assassin's
But
Creed
I mean,
edition.
yeah. I mean, I like Eivor is the main guy, and the I forget the girl's name, because I play mainly
They're both
as
the
Eivor.
same.
And okay,
It's the same name.
okay. So yeah, I mean, I mainly play as the guy, and I really like the story, like the love interest in there, and
All right, that's it. It wins. Best story.
Best love interest.
Beginning of it, as you start the game, you're in the Animus, and it glitches out.
Oh.
And then it's like, why am I not seeing what I'm supposed? Why is this freaking out right now? And it's like, well, it looks like there's two branching paths of the same person.
Then Desmond Miles.
And it's basically a boy or a girl.
you get to pick boy.
Are you a Wizard 101? Are you a boy or a girl?
No, that's Pokemon, man. That's the first thing they always ask you.
The Wizard 101 one is more of a meme, though, right? I think so.
You saying that just made me think. My wife watched me play the start of Nexomon, and she loved how you got to pick your character.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, is that you? Is that you?
Yeah.
And then you get to choose what you look like.
It's like me, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
This is me now. The way that you can let the Animus choose things, I think, is a good story beat almost.
Yeah, let's decide.
You can let it decide whether you're a boy or a girl, and then you can let it spend your skill points for you. Which is I don't know if that's
to play the game.
I don't know if that's something that they've done before.
No,
but
they have not done that before.
That seems like very immersive, where it's like I don't make any of these decisions. The Animus already has this all pre-planned out, and I'm just playing like what the Animus is technically supposed to be doing. You're just living their life.
I like the first one.
And I mean, and not only is it about Eivor, but it's about Layla Hassan and how she's how she was a Templar, and then now she's part of the Assassins, and basically she's Desmond Miles, and she's trying to save the world by going and finding out what Eivor did to help save what happened to that Apple of Eden.
Yeah,
that is going to save the world.
So is that the person who is in the Animus?
Yes. Yeah, Layla.
How far after Desmond is this?
I think Desmond dies in Revelations, so like after the third one. So after that, it's a couple other people.
Wait,
and then
no, it was 3.
Was it 3?
Yeah, it was 3.
Okay, so yeah, and then I think it starts with her in Origins, and then Odyssey, and then which I think they're making that the new lore, I guess. So
it's kind of confusing. But
it is kind of confusing.
I looked up timeline and like how it all happens. It's like, whoa, dude. There's just so much there.
The cool part about the beginning of that, like of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, is how you're waiting for your brother. Mine is my brother to come back from war, and he's been away for 6 months or something like that. And he comes back and he brings 2 assassins with him, and that's how you get your hidden blade. Is these 2 assassins are like, hey, you should. Your brother's like, hey, I want to give you this gift. And this one assassin's like, this is not the way that you earn this. You should not be giving this away. And they're like, no, we need to make peace with these fucking Vikings because fuck fighting them.
Let's make peace. I don't want to die.
You're bringing these assassins from what I believe is where Origins took place. If I understand where, because they came from the desert.
Yeah, Middle East. I think it might have been the Middle East. Egypt, something like
because
that.
Because it said, we came from an ocean of sand. Like I was in an ocean of sand, and that's like, I'm back in the snow now. This is where I belong. But these assassins are there, and they're like, this is not how this works. And the other, like the leader, there's like the one guy is like the higher up, and the other one is the apprentice, I believe.
Yeah, he's like and he's something else.
And he's like, no, I know how you told me I earned this hidden blade, and we can't be doing this.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it you just chop off your finger?
That's the first.
Well, I mean,
That's only in the first.
Well, no, didn't they stop doing? Didn't they like?
Yeah, because Da Vinci
was a smart boy.
So where it's happening right now, they do that.
Oh,
yeah. So
right,
this is all before that.
Yeah.
But since Avar is not part of the assassin brotherhood, he's like, damn, this thing looks cool. I'm gonna put it on the outer part of my hand so I can show this shit off.
Yeah.
Instead of putting it inside where it fucking cuts your finger off.
I'm not hiding this.
I'm not doing this. This shit looks cool.
Yeah.
You know?
It's no longer a hidden blade.
It's not a hidden blade.
It's just a blade.
And he doesn't really join the Assassin's Creed he doesn't join the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Which they're called the hidden ones now. And it's just all.
So what do you think of the
hidden
story? Like, do you think it's a good top tier?
Is it compelling? Is it rich?
I just think there's.
Would you want it to be best story, or do you want it to potentially be in top 5?
Did it do Vikings justice?
A lot
of questions.
Yeah, it is a lot of questions. So the Viking aspect, it mainly focuses on them just trying to move from Norway, which can't grow crops, anything like that. Basically, like Ragnar did, and just wanted to go over there and settle land.
Everything is dying.
Yeah, they just wanted to have land.
We cannot make a stew. Hinga dinga durgan.
And that's how they're portraying them. It's just
SpongeBob
pillaging and stuff like that, and they don't kill innocents. Is the thing that's what they do.
Oh, Vikings are known for that.
Well, that's the thing.
We don't rape. We let you leave.
I mean, they burn their houses down, but they don't kill them.
That doesn't sound
Like,
very
get out.
Viking.
Hey, come on, step
It's
out.
only
step out.
Norway in the winter. What?
You don't need that house. You live, but your house is
Yeah,
going
we
bye-bye.
gotta keep that fire going, man.
So that's how they try to show the Vikings as like
Merciful raiders.
colonists, I guess.
Colonists.
I'm a
Yeah.
colonist.
I mean, let's be honest. The colonists were a lot like the Vikings.
Yep.
But I mean,
I mean, if you don't want it to be up there, it doesn't have to.
Yeah,
be.
I haven't played enough of it to put it up there, but the few things that I've found that I play as to like immerse me in the story more were really cool story points that I was like, I don't even have to like these decisions are technically made for me telling a story where I don't like it's not my story, it's that story.
and his origin story is pretty cool, and how Norway is, and how what happens there is pretty cool, and why you go over to England to colonize over there. I mean, yeah, we can keep it on there for now. We'll just see how it goes.
For top 5, or do you want to move it to best story?
We'll leave it.
Just leave it up there for now, probably.
Yeah, for top 5.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
top 5.
Yeah, we'll just leave it there.
Okay. I probably am not far enough into Cyberpunk to really say.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of things that game
Reeves.
does really well.
Keanu Reeves.
But as far as I am in the game now, like my primary relationship is dead. Like your Jackie, my bestie Jackie is dead.
I did not like
and
that.
I love Jackie.
Yes,
I thought he
Jackie
was a
is an
great
awesome
character, even though you get zero introduction to why he's your best friend. Like, hey,
No,
don't
you get that
Isn't it like three
cutscene?
mission? Isn't it like 3 missions?
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I did, and then
But like, it's not really enough for me, at least, to build a relationship with this character.
But I did.
didn't think.
But you did. Like you liked Jackie in that little bit that you had him.
Of course, yeah. And my enjoyment of Jackie comes after the first couple of missions. Like, you get to learn more about him, and they kind of shove you into being his friend.
Yeah.
But I think in the end, it actually works more than it doesn't. And I really wish, we talked about it on the episode where we talked about Cyberpunk. I really wish that you played the montage that you just blow through in 3 minutes, because that would have gone a while towards building your relationship with Jackie. And even without that, I was still very, very upset when he died.
Yeah.
And
I was so upset when that gun went through his head and then into my head and that chip. It was horrible.
yeah, it was better for me.
Sorry,
'cause
it was a glitch.
I just got the chip. Like, I really wish to have played, because I really wish to have played the montage. And then when that happened and he was starting to die, I'm like, already. Really?
Yeah.
Because
it's killing my favorite character.
If I hadn't done what I did, which was I ran around for probably about 12 hours just doing the same thing of fighting crime. That's it. And then I did a couple of story missions and then he's dead. I would have had him dead in like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
And
If that, yeah.
Yeah. And like I was emotional because that was the only tie you have to anything. Really? And then I'm like, why do I care?
After Jackie dies, that's when you get Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
So I guess the argument could be made that it's an upgrade.
I mean, I'd have
to.
I mean, I'll have to play more to see, obviously, because like I love Keanu Reeves, but it's
That
also,
story
like,
goes some places from what I've played too.
I kind of heard what you guys were talking about, and so far all I heard was, dang, the story sucks, how it really is just such a bad story, how it draws me in and gets me invested in these characters and it makes me want more, and I don't get it.
One character.
Man, I just hate how it doesn't not make me not like it.
So you're saying, Ryan, that you might like Avengers story more than Cyberpunk? I'm just getting.
No, I see what you're saying. So Avengers for me, that is the only thing that fucking works in that game.
The story, yeah, 100%.
Almost everything.
That's why I enjoyed watching
about
it instead of playing it.
Exactly. I hate almost everything about it except for the story, and I think like with as rough a beginning as Cyberpunk ends up having because of the montage, and it doesn't really connect you enough in the first couple hours to Jackie and the world. The way Avengers begins is way worse.
Well, I
mean, a Wally world is basically.
I love the story that Avengers tells in the end, and I got used to the portrayal of some of the characters, but I didn't fall in love with any of them except for maybe Thor. And Bruce Banner, not the Hulk, Bruce Banner specifically.
I agree.
Oh, why no? Like Hulk, he can't smash
because he's not fast enough, Philip. That's why I don't.
I do agree. Bruce is probably my favorite character.
And the relationship between Bruce and Kamala is great.
Yeah.
Great chemistry there.
Their chemistry is perfect, but like Tony's chemistry with everybody else sucks.
It's just classic Nolan North.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah.
And it's not Tony Stark to me. It is classic Nolan North
instead of Tony Stark, right?
Yeah.
And Nathan Drake.
He was.
Austin, I think
Desmond Miles
played Avengers.
Yeah, I didn't beat it though.
Okay. What was the story like for you?
Obviously, it wasn't worth getting through.
Got him.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't that much there. I mean, it was just kind of copy, paste, rinse, repeat. And I mean, I liked I liked the little banter between Stark and Bruce. I like the little bantering that they did at least. That is pretty much all that I really liked about that.
Wow.
Other than playing like
Yikes.
as like Captain America with the shield and just constantly throwing it and kicking it. And then Thor's hammer. That's pretty much about it that I liked about.
So you didn't like the story,
Even the
really?
story, no, I don't really like it, no.
Okay.
I like the villain building of MODOK.
I do too.
I think I'm not familiar enough with MODOK to know that that's who that guy was going to become.
Me neither.
So starting off with him just being a scientist and then him, like the progression of showing him turning into MODOK, I thought was really well done.
My brain big.
Yeah, big brain boy.
Big brain, little body.
Is that who that is?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate him.
And I think I guess the realism with which they portray MODOK becoming MODOK is kind of impressive.
It is.
Because he's such an over-the-top character in general, and he kind of sucks. I don't like him in a lot of the other things.
So, can you explain?
And his character design, too, is like,
weird.
Get the fuck out of here. Go to
It's Krang without a body.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining the Green Lantern movie, the guy at the very end, the big brain boy with the veins popping out and the yellow lightning coming out of his brain like Sheen from Jimmy Neutron.
Sheen times 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I have a theory. If the resolution of the story is the enemy explodes in the end, it's a bad story. So does the enemy explode in the end?
The resolution of the story is MODOK figures out how to control a sentinel and is it a Ascent? No, it's a Krang Guardian, a Krang something from
something big and fancy.
Yeah, it's big like alien technology from a previous battle that is stuck on Earth because the Avengers defeated it in a previous storyline that we didn't play. And so
it would have been a better storyline.
He figures out how to control that, and then that's the ultimate baddie that you have to be is him in the brain of that thing, and you fighting against that.
And he blows up in the end.
I assume he blows up. I don't know. I played through the story, the game
I think
primarily.
he gets tossed into the ocean.
Yeah.
Or something.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool. That's like Transformers.
I played through the story primarily, or played through the game primarily to experience the story. And while that is the best part about that, I think Nexomon is head and shoulders above what Avengers pulled off.
Yes.
100%.
I'm already like, because at first in the beginning of the story, it's kind of like,
So I'm going to take Avengers off.
Yeah.
If nobody else has anything to say about Avengers.
The favorite part was
I'm ready to go for Nexomon.
Tell us a little bit about the Moons of Madness story then. Who
did
is that? You that added that?
Yeah, I put Moons of Madness on here. So, I mean, like
same thing you were saying, like with the story where your guy,
where you're telling a story throughout. So like he's journal entries, and he's on the space station. Now I'm only on like the 3rd chapter of 6, so I'm probably halfway through the game. But I like. So your character is not the one that goes mad. Everyone else on the station goes mad. So when you first start off, you wake up in your room and the power's gone out in the station. And you get up.
That's not good in space.
Right. And so you get up from the room and you put on your little wrist communicator thing.
Pip-Boy.
And it is basically a Pip-Boy, actually. But it's like a realistic version.
I haven't played this game, by the way.
Realistic version of a Pip-Boy. And so you get on the comms and you're like, hey, I don't remember the guy's name. Let's call it, hey, Randy. The station
Where the
power.
Fuck's the power, Randy?
The power's out in the station. Do you know what's going on? And Randy doesn't respond. So you're like, oh,
where the fuck's Randy?
Fuck. So you leave your room and it's the backup generators have kicked on, but they're not providing enough power to power the station. So now you're getting flashing lights. And now you're on a station on Mars, and everything's like I was saying in the visual segment, just absolutely beautifully rendered. Like it's such a well-designed and put together space station that really makes you feel like cloistered in a way that is pretty scary. So you start moving through the station, and you've got a flashlight on your lapel because you're wearing a spacesuit. So you got a flashlight.
There's no power.
There's no power. The power's just blinking. So you're going around through all these dark corridors and stuff, and eventually you figure out that you have to restore the power, and you have to leave the space station to do that. So you leave the space station to the power part of the space, and it's outside because it's all solar lighting. So you restore the power to the solar lighting, but as you're progressing through those segments, your character, even though there's nothing like particularly definitive about you that you're going mad, you're getting these flashes. And you see like these flashes of these horrific events, and then it goes back to him in like the Land Rover that you're taking to the solar place. And he's like, what the fuck just happened? Like, did that really happen, or did it happen in my mind? So you're in these little segments of like the madness part of the game leaking into the story. And
you're the monster.
Maybe. I don't know if that's the story. Like I said, I'm only halfway through.
I bet you're the monster.
So you eventually, once you turn the power back on, you get in communication with the other people. And when you talk to Randy, Randy's like, oh, I'm the maintenance man or whatever, and I know how to get through
maintenance.
You got to go to the next portion of the station. So you go to the next portion of the station, and nothing really happens on that main station other than the little flashbacks and stuff. So you go to the second part of the station, and it is the biocontainment unit. So you are growing crops in this area. It's like this, you can see outside through the window panels and stuff like that. and everything is overgrown with some type of growth. And
some grass, are you?
Yeah, somebody is, but it's not like growth. It's like tree roots.
Somebody's doing grass.
This stuff is infiltrating
the space of Spacey.
It's infiltrating the space station. So you're like, hey, Randy, there's some crazy shit that's growing on here. Do you know like what is happening?
What you growing here, Randy?
And Randy just responds with static. And then you get another voice on the radio that I had the subtitles turned on, and I almost always have the subtitles turned on in games. That is another doctor who is on that part of the space station, and she tells you that the growth on that part of the station is by design, and it is some science shit that they're doing.
They put chia seeds in the walls,
and can't. You are not to mess with the science experiment that's going on. Like they've done this on purpose, and everything that's there is exactly how they want it to be.
Sounds like a vault from Fallout.
So your character is like, well, that really can't be because
that
fucking
sounds fishy.
Yeah, this sounds fishy from the get-go. So that's when you start to find like
I've seen this movie before.
The little journal entries and stuff of like that particular scientist. So you're talking about the pre-testing phase.
Yeah.
And then what happens is they start to take some Martian soil and infuse it with microbiomes from Earth. Because obviously things grow on Earth. So they mix Martian soil and they're doing these, the test tubes. Like they're doing it all in test tubes, and they're running thousands of experiments a day trying to like figure out how to grow things in the Martian soil. And you figure out that like, oh shit, they found some shit in the microbiomes of the Martian soil that is causing all this stuff to explode. So that's kind of where I'm at in terms of the story. And the third portion that I guess I made it to was that you find this underground cavern. So the rover that you took into the space station, you run in the microbiome part where they're growing all that shit. You run away from a monster that eventually appears. What? And it's clear the monster has grown out of all of the shit that is growing in that station. So, because it's all like he's a tree branch monster basically. And so after you run from there, you collect the MacGuffin or whatever you had to do there. And then you go to your rover and you pass out in your rover. Ooh. And when you wake up, your rover is somewhere else. Like you didn't tell it to go anywhere, but now your rover is like at a cavern opening and you have to go into this cavern. That's the only way to take. You've got to leave the rover and go into the cavern. And that's when it starts to get really fucked up because the cavern is clearly someplace that the scientists found, but the person that found it didn't tell anybody about it because they didn't want to release any of the secrets found in this cavern. And so the cavern has some like, did any of you play last year's Game of the Year, Control?
I played a little bit of it.
Yeah.
So in Control, for the listeners, in Control, you're like, you might open a doorway that leads somewhere completely fucking else.
Yeah.
In a way that like isn't physically possible, but in the world that they've built is possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that a lot of those aesthetics have made it into Moons of Madness. And like you're going into this cavern and it's clearly a cavern. You're on the Martian planet still because you have to keep refilling your oxygen and stuff like that. But it is all fucked. Like it's multi-dimensional layers of fucked. So there's like weird growth that, like I said, that was coming out and like weird parts where you're looking into a cavernous space, but you're underground. So there can't be like that
space
type of like, exactly. And that's
Anime
where it kind of
cat girls
starts
all over the place.
Starts falling apart. So I think the way that that's all told is awesome, and it probably could be in contention for best story.
Okay.
And I'm glad that it made both of these categories, and I think that it has probably had its due in terms of talking about it.
Yeah.
We can leave it on if you guys like the story that's being
I like
told.
how you're describing.
Yeah, honestly, I think it
I'd
crapped
go
on
for
Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
it
I'd go
sounds
for
far more
that
interesting.
or Nexomon. I mean, there's one thing I want to put as a negative towards Cyberpunk that I realized it's all sitting and talking.
Yeah,
that's something I was worried about with that game,
and it is, and I'm like, why? Where can I do something? Hey, sit. Why aren't you sitting?
It's
you want to come and talk?
It's like real life.
It is too much like real life. Where
Too
I
much
sit down and
real.
talk to that guy.
And I can't take my pants off and be naked. No, there's nothing.
You think it'd be more like GTA
I
and the
did it.
fact that like the
He did
dialogue is very short lived in Grand Theft Auto, and then you're doing the missions. Like, yeah, most of the dialogue is taking place while you're driving a car or while you're shooting people.
That's what I do.
Like,
anyways.
that's literally when most of the dialogue's being. But like, yeah, in Cyberpunk, I can see you sitting down a lot. It's like Han Solo and
then
Chewie.
like the actual the choices you make don't actually matter. And then your background doesn't even matter. Like you make little side choices, but it actually doesn't change anything.
So I am going to disagree with you there. I think I'm probably further in Cyberpunk than anybody here.
Not him.
How
Not
much
Austin,
did you
I don't
play,
think.
I
Austin?
beat it.
Fuck off. Nice. Okay, I didn't beat it. I'm not as far as Austin is.
I was gonna say I think Austin beat it.
Nice. I got swallowed up into Nexomon, and that took me away from Cyberpunk.
Yep.
So
I like Nexomon.
one of my argument against that, Philip, is there's two organic things that I was running around the world and just ran into that I thought were super cool in terms of the story. So the first one is, and this is actually the quest I'm on right now. I was just running through city life and taking down bad guys and stealing fucking cars like I want to do in this game. And I heard a guy yelling down the court, like down a street. So I go down this alleyway and this guy's standing there holding his hands on his dick and he's screaming. He's like, oh my God, you gotta help me. Please help me. And so you walk up to him and you're like, what seems to be the problem, sir?
It's a porno intro.
And so he explains to you that he took the steps to modify his genitals via the cyberpunk modification systems, the
rocket launcher.
implants and stuff like that, to modify his dick to be
Flamethrower.
Yeah, I mean it's a dick, but it's still like big ass dick. That's what he wanted.
Yeah, that's what he wants.
So he wants Saints Row 3 dildo bat dick.
Yep.
I have that.
And
What?
so
In this game.
Right.
Okay, Troy.
I have that. Okay, my God.
So it does have a couple of kids. So
Worked
You know,
in
I got
MF4.
that thing on.
So he explains to you that he was in the process of utilizing the implant.
Oh, he breathed vape juice into it, didn't he?
And
Xbox.
an error occurred that has now exploded his member.
Yo.
And so he wants you to get him to a Ripper Doc, which is what those implant doctors are called.
Yeah.
You need to get him to a Ripper Doc fucking right now. Should there be anything salvageable with his
penis.
you need to help him.
Loaded penis.
So that's actually where I'm at right now. And just the fact that I was just running through the world. I wasn't trying to do anything, and I ran across this hilarious quest.
And that's why it's best story.
Well, I mean,
Congratulations,
100%.
that
Cyberpunk.
quest would be there anyway.
What do you mean?
It's like it's not like it's just a random occurrence. We said like organic. I mean, yeah, you're running around, but it's like it's just there.
No, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But the fact that I ran into it and wasn't led into it, I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
That's kind of
I don't
side
know.
missions in an open world game.
I think I like the way you tell these stories.
Yeah.
But when I compare, I mean, obviously there's an organic element, like you're talking to it. It feels like what they were saying. Sit down, let's have a talk, and then you
That's
can
the
point, click,
story.
shoot, and stuff like that.
I mean, like the side missions,
Well-
I've had fun with that kind of thing too. I've come across the same thing, but I also have an issue with one of the side missions I did that pissed me off.
But that helped me be involved in the story stuff. So my second example is a Keanu Reeves portion of the game, Johnny Silverhand. I was running through a market and I got a little notification of there's a person to talk to close by. And so
It's just a stripper trying to get you to come fuck them, and don't do it.
I did that. Not in real life. It's
I did
Cyberpunk.
that.
Well, I did that not in Cyberpunk, dang it. Mine was real life.
And it was
Crap.
Danny DeVito.
Trash
Look, I'm not going to pay you, Danny.
Give me my money, man.
No.
And some trash.
So in this market, you can talk to a collectibles vendor, and he is collecting and vending old samurai like stuff. So stuff from the band Samurai, which is Keanu Reeves' band, who turned into a terrorist organization kind of. So
We're the Beatles. Hand over all your stolen goods.
that's pretty much it. Like he wants to revolutionize the world and figures out that like music isn't doing that enough for him, and he needs to take drastic fucking measures.
It
It goes
is
from
literally
0 to 100.
Yeah.
literally Bill and Ted. In the future, they take over and they're like the gods of music.
But he doesn't want to be the god of music.
But
He
that's-
stops doing music
Yeah.
and he wants to like.
It's like an alternate universe. We're there, dude.
Bill without Ted.
Yeah.
So,
Ted without
No,
Bill.
Ted was Jack.
Ted without Bill, yeah.
so that particular quest is like you have to go all around that market and scoop up the little things that the vendor wants you to find. And all those little things, Keanu Reeves pops in and he's telling you backstories about those things. And I think one of them's a record. Did you find that quest, Austin?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the stuff that he was selling was like super expensive. I
Yeah.
remember.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it was super high end stuff, and I found it at a
Oh, yeah.
relatively low level.
I didn't.
And I had quested. I had beaten enough of bad guys up where I had a bunch of credit, and I was able to buy 2 or 3 of the things that he was selling. But just the experience of like knowing the backstory, like learning the backstory about Samurai and having Johnny Silverhand come in and talk to me about it, I thought was really cool. And the end of that, as you're leaving the market, you see a guy playing a guitar, and that like that's the end of that quest. Is like he's telling you about like this is how I started in
What's
terms
funny?
of.
Weird thing. I ran into the guy with the guitar.
But you didn't do the other stuff?
I didn't do any of the other shit.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Like I was
ran
like,
into the guy
okay,
guitar first.
this dude with the guitar, and he's like, yeah, that's how you start this.
Yep.
Like this is how I started.
Maybe I'm remembering it wrong then, you guys.
And then he led me to that
Okay.
area.
Then I have it
didn't-
backwards. I'm so
I just
sorry.
was like, okay, this dude's playing a guitar, and then I ditched.
Yep. I was doing a mission. I was in a mission doing it doing that area, doing something, and then he's like, "Hey, that guy over there, go go look at him or something like that." And I went over there, and the mission that I was doing got on pause mode. The guy was like, "All right, I'll see you later." And I'm literally like 10 feet away. But I did that, and then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to keep on doing this then.
Right.
Then I came back, and the guy's still waiting there at the stall like, all right, waiting to talk to this person. Come on.
So for the listeners that run into this quest that I described very poorly, obviously, if you play this quest, if you have enough credits to buy the things when you talk to him the first time.
Yep.
Because you cannot go back and buy those things again. And I got fucked. I bought 2 of them. I had enough money to buy 3, and I didn't because I was like, maybe I'll pick that up later. And he doesn't sell you things anymore after you've bought things from him the first time.
Yep.
Which is not story related. I just wanted to throw that out there for the listeners who.
It's not even a good business practice.
He's a poor.
Got one chance and then sorry.
So talk about Cyberpunk's story then, Austin, because for me, I want Nexomon to win this category. Nexomon is fucking phenomenal.
I mean, a lot of the side missions are what help make this game a story. Like literally, like.
Because the story about like 15 hours is not long.
It's not that long, no.
Okay.
It's what these side stories do to help you get to that ending that you want. Because if you just do main mission, you're gonna only get one ending, and it's gonna kind of suck.
We also heard that in some instances, like the choices at the end, it's closer to the end that actually makes a difference in terms of what ending you get. There are, I think, it's 4 or 5.
There's 5. Yeah, where's like a secret ending, and
a
then
couple
4.
of them are just choices closer to the end that make a difference. Something with when you sit in chairs So it's doing some because I
No, I mean it's more so how you do those side missions. Like with Pan Am, if you if that's your love interest, then she'll end up helping you later on at the end of the game. If you don't, then that's not an option. It's not there. And that's what I'm saying. Like if you just do go straight through, you're only gonna get one ending. If you just do the main mission, that's all you're gonna get is one ending because you're not gonna get any help.
Yeah.
You didn't do any of the missions that Johnny Silverhand's telling you to do. You're not doing any missions for Pan Am, so none of them are gonna come help you for what you want. So, and I think at the end you get two choices, even at that one ending that you're not gonna get at these other ones. But yeah, like I said, I mean, learning there's 4 main romances that you only get, which sucks real bad. But those are the 4 main people that are gonna help you at the end of the game. Yeah, with a Cyberpunk game. And
I think I told you about it. I accidentally romanced a person. Like it was scary.
Was it the guy on the side of the street?
No, I did that one too. I knew that was happening.
That one was not an accident.
That
was on purpose.
It was like, hey, you wanna help me out and throw me some money? And I was like, sure. And then it was like it happened. I was like, okay, I saw that coming. I should have known better.
It's happening, so might as well.
Yeah.
Right.
know whatever.
But the one that happened
Hopefully
to
the
me,
life don't walk in.
I get a 25 vitality boost, right? My health goes up to 125.
that was the weird thing was everybody else in the house is sleeping, right?
Oh God!
Oh, no.
And I'm playing through the story of Cyberpunk.
Dad, I'm thirsty.
I in the very beginning of the story, you go and help. I can't even remember her name, but the Militech lady.
Oh,
yeah.
I forget her name too. Meredith.
Yes.
Meredith.
And I was like, that was a cool lady. I want to do more missions with her. Like, military stuff interests me.
I know what you mean.
I want to do more missions like that.
With that cyber cock.
Like, no, like that little tank thing that you get while doing that. That stuff was really cool. And I wanted to do more of that. So I was like, she sends you a text and it says, hey, nice working with you. I sent a text back saying, hey, I'd like to work with you more.
Right.
Yikes.
Netflix and chill?
No, that's not what I was going for. I was like, I want to do this mission.
Right.
Take your pants off and we'll work more.
And she responded back, and it auto responds after your first response.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, well, I want to work with you too. And it was like, hey, meet me at this hotel. I met what is his name? Derek, or the big rapper dude. He looks like the rapper.
Dex.
Yes.
Yeah.
You meet Dex at this specific hotel for a mission.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to the same hotel for a mission.
Was it like the No-Tell Motel?
That's the one. And I walk up to the end of the motel. I had to actually Google where to go in the city because it doesn't pop up.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a mission. It's just a side thing you can do. And I walk into the No-Tell Motel, and you see which room you're gonna go to. And there's actually some other rooms, and you can hear some weird things going on. And I was like, no, I'm going here for a mission.
This is normal.
This is completely normal. And
You're a checkmate. Oh, and you got me again. Sunk my battleship.
And then you hear, get me to a rip doctor.
Oh, I did.
I walk into the room, and she's laying like all sprawled out in the bed in this weird like cyberpunk leather lingerie, and I'm like, oh boy.
Damn, that was fast.
Well, and then she's like, come over here. Like, and then it just goes.
Right.
Like you have no control.
Yeah.
Once you go in that room, there's no, I'd rather not.
Right.
It's
And then the controller vibrates for a really long time.
It's just going back and forth, different positions.
Oh my.
And
Gonna break the bed.
And then all of a sudden, at the end of the whole scene, there's a cut scene. You wake up and she's getting up and walking out the room, and that's the last you see of her.
Mm-hmm.
And you wake up, get off the bed, you're completely naked, and you look on the bed and there's a freaking dildo, like a dildo sword. I was like, well, I guess that's. I picked it up and it was a freaking weapon. It's my best weapon in the game. It's my best weapon in the game. It's like a
$6 dildo.
A military dildo. This is what you got.
I think it's like 16 or 18 looking inches long, and it's got a handle on it, and you beat people with that thing, and it's better than the samurai sword at this point.
Jesus Christ.
300 DPS, giant dildo.
What kind of skill trees are in this that a samurai sword doesn't do enough damage?
No, the samurai sword is the best weapon in the game, besides the mantis blades. But to start off, I accidentally fucked a lady and I got a 300 DPS. My guns don't do 300 DPS, and so I'm walking around with this giant dildo, just
guns.
beating the
Just
shit
here's
out
my
of people.
dick.
And there you could even end up doing that if you
Yeah.
do something certain. Like if you don't take her money, you won't end up getting to that part where you
can't text
where you get the
I
dildo
didn't
sword.
get that. I went a different direction. So
I want an 18-inch
my
dildo.
story ends with her where you leave the complex where you found the robot spider.
Yeah.
And you talk to a guy out there that also works for Militech.
Yep. So you got
And he goes, "Hey, I want you to know we took down Meredith, and we appreciate your help. Here's some money." Huh. So
What did you mean take her down?
like,
Well, I mean, obviously,
we got
she's
your
working
friend
dirty.
Troy.
Check his inventory for a little sword.
Fred Troy who took
Is that a dildo in your pocket? Or are you happy to see me?
So yeah, he's like, we removed Meredith from Militech. We appreciate the intelligence or whatever, because I chose to betray her basically in my storyline. So I did not get the dildo back.
Ooh. Yeah, I
So
mean, it's a good weapon, but I
so
swore up
excited
and
about
down to
it. Yeah.
Brenda that I was like, so I accidentally had sex in this game. She's like,
Accidentally.
what?
You cheated on me.
What? That's one thing that she's always been iffy about is like that kind of stuff. And I was like, I'm gonna be upfront and honest. This was a complete and total accident. Like
I just I slipped on the bike like she was there. I just was walking. There was some oil on the ground. I fell. My belt just slipped. It ripped my pants off, and then just as I'm falling down the stairs, she came around the corner. Her dress also grabbed on the rail, and then she slipped. I fell, and then boom, we're in the bushes, and like I got stung by a bee.
bushes
so we're
at the
shaking.
Okay.
But yeah,
Cyberpunk story.
Can I explain why I stopped playing?
Sure.
So, why I'm not as big a fan of the story in its current instance and what got me mad at the side missions, there's two that made me upset, and just kind of looking into that some of the options, like it doesn't work as it's supposed to, and then also sometimes just nothing happens, and I thought something was cool, and then it means nothing. So I go to a Ripper dock, get some stuff, and then I'm like traveling around, and the cop's like, hey, there's some hinky shit going down. Can you check this out? So I go in and I find, and I didn't actually realize this was that Ripper dock, but it was later. I go down, kill the crap out of a bunch of people, go down to this basement and find out that they're gutting people to get parts. And I'm like, oh, damn. So I get all this information.
Robots.
Yeah, I
you in
get
the
the
girder.
information so I can like sting this guy and get all this stuff. And I go up the stairs. I'm like, holy shit, I just bought parts from you. And he's like, oh, what did you see? And she's like, it's all fucked up down there. And he's like, well, let me bribe you. And it's like, I saw the emails. I know this is bullshit. And then like if you press him, he'll either give you a discount if you accept it, or if you press him, he's like, oh, well, let me go grab something. And then he just runs, and that's it. You can bring the information in, and then the mission just ends and you get paid. I tried to chase him, and he just goes into a car, drives around. I got in the car, and he's just like, and then eventually just got up, walked back, and then I talked to him, and he's like, oh, what's this? I'm like, okay, this is glitched up. Because the first time I chased him, I punched him, and it's like, you have committed a crime. And then the cops are everywhere. I'm like, but
I'm working for the cops.
I'm like, I'm working to take, this guy is killing people.
I'm in deep
and then
cover.
there was, I just let him go.
So you
That was
found a
it.
segment that didn't necessarily work out the way you wanted it to.
Yeah, well, it didn't make any sense because it just, he runs off and that's it. I'm like, that was almost cool. Then
I mean, could the story be that like
Maybe
not
he's
all stories have happy endings?
well, no, why can't I do something to this guy? Like, I know
'Cause
that
fuck
he,
you, that's why.
Well, there's a guy running out in the street and you murder him.
no, he's in
Did
his
he get
own,
a choice?
he is a criminal killing people to get parts. I know this. I should be able to capture him or something. But it's like, oh, nope, he's just going to run away. And that's it. He's not considered a criminal.
Like,
it's
weird thing that story games do. He could be important later in the story.
That is
I looked it up.
Okay. I mean,
that's it. That's all it is.
No, I chased him
because I
down
was
and
like,
killed
I
him.
was mad when that happened because I wanted to know.
Austin,
like,
you killed him?
is there-
he ran away, and I'm like, okay, come back here, and I sliced him in the back, and he's dead.
But you got a crime thing though.
No, I ran back into a shop and kept on looting.
I mean, yeah, if you run away from the cops, they then just disappear. Then the other thing that got me upset, and this is when I decided to stop.
I mean, I guess I don't necessarily like Austin killed him. He didn't get a mark against the police.
No, he did, but he ran away. That's what you're saying. You did, and you ran away.
Yeah.
Because the cops, if you run away from their thing, they just stop.
Right,
And
for
which
sure.
is dumb.
I mean, that's how open world games tend to
GTA.
work.
Well,
when you run away from
you
the
can
cops.
literally run away like 5 feet if you just get without of their range, and then it's done. Which I've like. There's the
I'm
cops
super
are kind of
stealthy.
shitty.
If you drive away, that's a lot easier.
Yeah.
If you're running away, it's a little bit harder because they kind of just teleport.
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily
Yeah.
find that the running away was super easy, but the driving away,
Yeah. Oh,
get in
yeah.
the car.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah, and I ran in the building and I just hid in there and they left me alone.
But I would have liked there to just be something more. It's either you can be a dick and be like, oh yeah, it's fine, give me a discount, or he just runs away. And that's it. Which I'm like, everything else you've kind of let me, so that felt like nothing.
It
And
felt
again, I
like-
looked it up to see if there's something I can do. Nothing.
You're
That's
saying it feels like underwhelming because it felt like this big
Yes.
conspiracy and things
And
were
then
going
nothing
on,
happened.
and then basically it's like I'll give you good parts or bugger off, I guess.
Yes. And that bothered me because I'm like, I can murder criminals in plain view of the cops with them, and that's fine. But the game can't just flip a switch and turn this guy into a criminal.
So,
It
so you're
doesn't
saying
work
like
that
the
way.
rewards for the side quests aren't or they're just not rewarding.
Well, this one
This
specifically,
one specifically is just
like
not
there's
rewarding.
been some side missions that have good rewards, but this just felt dumb and like it was incomplete because it's either if you want to be a good person, which I'm trying to do, I'm not going to be a dick and let him keep gutting people just to give me
I
a
see what you
reward.
mean. I see what you mean.
Because that's what they're doing in the basement.
The
They are
RP was
murdering
not
and
there.
gutting. Yeah, there was no point. It's either just he runs away or you get a reward.
What was the second one?
The second one is I'm running around and I'm just having fun killing people. That's all I'm doing is just killing.
I thought you were a good guy.
gangs.
Yeah, I'm trying
Gangs.
to RP.
Running around
Criminals.
killing people.
I am fighting crime because it doesn't matter if you kill them or not. Fighting crime. They shoot me first.
Hey, my giant dildo also says that it is non-deadly.
Yeah, there is a thing. Yep.
You don't get in trouble for beating somebody to death with a dildo because they didn't actually die.
I got that on my sword. It
Non-lethal.
just knocks them out
Yes.
pretty much. Doesn't kill them.
Sword,
Forever.
But if I hit them after they're knocked out, then body parts start flying.
Wow. So I'm going into these slums, and there is a monk who has been gutted and just turned into cybernetics, and that's against their religion. They're being captured by a gang and then being forced into these mechanical parts. And so he's ostracized from his gang, and they're like, or not his gang, he's ostracized from his monk coalition or however it is.
Right.
And he's like, I thought monks don't do that. And he's like, well, yeah, I don't. They did this to me. And then he's like, they have my brother. Can you go help him? And please, they don't like violence. I spent 2 hours going through this complex, making sure I did not kill anyone. Every fucking time, he's like, how dare you kill people in front of me? And they're like, oh, well, maybe you bring them outside. Maybe do this. Maybe do this. No, the quest is just glitched. So I tried really hard to do something, and it doesn't work. It's in there, but it doesn't function. And so I'm like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm going to
Use
wait.
the dildo.
Yeah.
Yeah, non-lethal.
I did. I did the non-lethal takedown on every single one.
Did you use the dildo?
No, I don't
Well,
have
all right.
the dildo.
Well, then you haven't tried all your options. That's all we're saying.
That's all we're saying.
It's a
You
complex
had to
game.
do that mission. Do it
I took
correct.
so much time to make sure I took them all down non-lethally, every single one. I even carried them outside when they were non-lethal before I talked to them. Didn't matter. I did everything I could. I spent 2 hours on it.
Did you try not taking them out at all?
You can't do that because then they kill him. You have to take them down because you have to get him out. He's tied up.
You can use distractions.
He's tied up.
Just go. What's over there?
Probably
over there.
actually wouldn't work anyway.
I didn't get that.
That frustrated me. And then there's been some other things when
a little frustrating.
I've had, obviously the things where it's like the visual cues where stuff pops in and out. And then like I'm in the middle of sitting and talking and then a car just drives around the corner and just goes, and I turn and just like, as it's just in the road doing nothing, but then everything off of the road, like 20 feet away from it was just hit.
Yeah. I don't know that that's a story thing though.
Yeah.
But it's just,
I have a question about the RP. So, like, the role playing of this game, is it like kind of like Fallout 4 where you're trying to play like a character that you've got in your head and it's like forced on you, like your decisions, and like you choose like a line of dialogue, or like what Troy was doing where he's like, he wanted to work more with this lady and it took him in an entirely different direction where he did not want to go.
And that's the end of the whole thing. That's the end of the relationship with her too, because it's one and done. You never see her again. You can't text her. You can't call her.
Well, let Brenda know that your relationship with the fictional woman is over.
Yeah, you cut all ties. But that frustrates
He's single
me.
again, everybody. Virtually
that's
single.
how it feels to me.
That frustrates me when I'm trying to play my character that I've got in my head. I've got his like motivation. I've got everything going for him. And maybe this isn't like as big of an RP game as I'm putting in my mind, but it does frustrate me when I'm trying to do something and it like the game just says like just takes the wheel from me and says this is your character.
So I guess like Cyberpunk is telling a specific story.
Yeah, maybe that's where I'm naive in that sense.
And
like,
and it's not like you can play in the open world the way you would like to attack the open world.
Okay.
In a lot of different ways via the way you spec your character. But in terms of where the story's going to go, I wouldn't say that there are a lot of story options that take you in different directions, kind of like what Phil was saying, where a lot of your choices, particularly at the beginning, are not super impactful other than the side missions if you do them.
Yeah.
But there still sounds like there's a lot of variety though.
Yes.
Yeah,
There is certainly a lot of variety.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
It seems more like to me that the side missions and just exploring is more
where it's bread
than
and
the
butter
story.
Well, there's like side missions and then there's side missions.
Yeah.
So like the side missions are like those romances.
Yeah.
And some of them aren't even romances. They're just friends. And then you just do like, for instance, River, his story arc is amazing. He's one of them. There's Pan Am, which is like a love interest that I'm doing. Then there's Judy. And then there's Carrie, which Carrie was part of Johnny Silverhand's band. And that's where they explore more of the lore of Johnny Silverhand. And that's where you get another different ending if you continue to go down that route.
Yeah.
And then same thing with Pan Am and then I think River too. But yeah, I mean, those side missions right there are the main things. And the rest of them aren't really that impactful to, like the side missions aren't really that impactful to the ending. Just to help to level your character up.
Okay.
So how do you rate this in comparison to story to Moons of Madness and Nexomon?
Why do you guys like Nexomon so darn much in the story?
Play it.
No.
Dude, go into the Ryan. You've played the most of Nexomon's story.
Okay.
Why is Nexomon so much better than most things?
Too crazy into stories. I just got to the
So-
ghost place and I'm liking it.
So
Don't spoil anything.
this game goes some places. So
Where does your intrigue come from?
Nexomon, like we were showing earlier on the visual, draws heavily from Pokemon.
Okay.
But the things that it manages to do in terms of the story and character development are directions that Pokemon is too vanilla to ever touch. Like Pokemon is Disney, and Nexomon is like the Muppets.
Pixar.
Like the Muppets get kind of dirty. Nexomon goes in directions that Pokemon will never touch.
And those fourth wall breaks. Oh my god.
People die in this game.
wow.
You don't kill them, but things die,
Yeah.
which is not a thing that happens in Pokemon. It's way darker.
Yeah.
They get sent to the Shadow Realm.
So I'll start with the first part of the story. So like you wake up and like Phil was saying with your character choice, right from the beginning, all of the writing and story choices are super funny. So, like, are you sure that's you?
Yeah.
When you first pick your character and you get to pick him from a lineup, you don't get to design your own character, but I bet there's 15, 20 choices.
Yeah.
So you can be, kind of whoever you want to be.
Very varied.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of variety.
I'm a bald dude with goggles on his head.
Nice.
Yeah.
My guy has some type of like mask on and like a flowing mane of hair that goes down to his feet.
I have
like
a green
that.
hat.
Green hat. So you start off at an orphanage. Your character is an orphan, and you don't know anything about your situation and like where are your parents, blah blah blah. You just know that you're at an orphanage, and the orphanage. It's similar to the way that Pokemon starts in that you are waking up to go get your Nexomon. So that is the thing.
Yeah.
That is the reason you're getting up. Like it's Nexomon day. I'm going to the professor.
I just turned 10.
I just turned 10. Exactly. Like
professor.
and at this point, I'm like, man,
This is a Poke clone.
yeah,
Like
I've seen this before.
Professor? That doesn't sound familiar.
So this game, when I bought it, I watched the trailer. I was like, this looks cool. It looks different than Pokemon, but this is definitely a Poke clone. Like 100%. I'm going to probably not like this game at all, but I have to give it a try because I am the Pokemaster.
Yeah, so where does it shake it up?
So it starts off really soon where it shakes it up in that. Sorry, Troy, don't give me that screen. So right from the start, it shakes it up in ways that are unexpected.
Yes.
So when you are getting your Pokemon,
Nexomon.
getting your Nexomon, and I did this a
the
lot
bad word.
when I was playing through the game. Like I was using them interchangeably as I was explaining these things to Rachel because it is drawing on a lot of those elements. So when you're getting your Nexomon, you have a character that is next to you. His name is Coco. He is a talking cat.
He's a animal.
Amazing.
How do you say that word?
Anthropomorphic.
So
cat.
he is not a Nexomon.
Nope.
But
Just strange cat.
But
man.
nobody like
He is
it's
the
never
kitty cat man.
explained why a talking cat is walking next to you throughout the game, other than the constant jokes of you being a mute.
Yeah,
So the cat has to talk for you. So there's like 2 parts in the game where you actually have a dialogue choice of a thing you can say, and I don't think neither of them really matter. They're funny when they happen. But all of the constant references to like the cat being your talk box is great because he's sarcastic. He breaks the fourth wall all the time. So when you first get your Nexomon, you choose from a list of the 9 elements, which is cool. You don't have a very small list of 3 to choose from. You can choose a starter from all the 9 elements. So
And they're actually like really rare ones and good ones.
Yep.
So
yep. And
But
the
I mean,
game-
that's Pokemon. Like you can't catch those Pokemon in the wild, in those games. So those are very rare in that aspect too.
I think you can still catch these ones, but they are harder to find.
Yes.
They are definitely harder to find. So when you first get your Nexomon, the professor says, "Hey, go into the woods and train your Nexomon, and here's 10 Nexo traps. Go catch you some wild Nexomon."
Those are Poke Prisms or Poke Pyramids.
Poke Pyramids.
They're triangles instead of circles.
They're triangles instead of circles. You've got, I think you guys saw it in the trailer, a little wristband thing where it shoots off.
It's
pretty
like
cool.
Yu-Gi-Oh looking wristband.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like it.
So you go into the wood, but right before you go into the woods, the character Coco, he goes, "So you're gonna send us into the woods with 0 training and 0 tutorial
With wild beasts.
with wild beasts, and you're gonna expect nothing bad to happen." Yeah, I'm sure nothing bad's gonna
Nothing
happen.
bad ever happens in these woods.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
fine.
And so
I believe it's like called the Forbidden Woods too.
it probably is. And so you go into the woods, and it is pretty much immediate that the woods gets attacked by a dragon.
Tyrant.
A tyrant. No, in the woods,
No,
it's a dragon.
Okay.
It's a dragon in
Yeah.
the woods. So this game has different levels of Nexomon. So there's the base level Nexomon that have a ranking system of common to ultra rare, legendary. And there are also dragons that are Nexomon, but there's a third tier of super Nexomon called tyrants. And the tyrants are all like, it's kind of unexplained as to how they came into power, but the creator of the world was a Nexomon called Omnicron. Omnicron created the entire Nexomon universe.
Isn't that a transformer?
Unicron.
Oh,
Close.
You're mine,
And Omnicron had 9 children that helped him rule the world. Tyrants, and those were called tyrants that took basically destroyed the human world, and Omnicron and his tyrants became the beings that ruled the world over the humans. So they were subjugated and pushed to like the fringes of society, and the Nexomon in the world all spawned from Omnicron. And eventually the humans in the world learned how to control those Nexomon and stop me if you've heard this before, get a relationship with them and catch them and train them and use them to fight in battles.
When you say relationship, are you talking about like Troy's relationship with the lady, or are you talking about...
No, I'm talking about Troy's relationship with Pokemon.
Yeah. Oh, even grosser.
Ash with Pikachu.
So, and none of this stuff is a little bit talked about in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
And then throughout the story, like, you learn that the humans of the world use these Nexomon to overthrow the tyrants.
Yeah, they fought Omnicron.
They fought Omnicron. They beat him. They killed Omnicron.
What?
And
That's
they sent all of his tyrants into hiding, basically. They defeated all of them. It doesn't say whether or not they've died. Excuse me.
But guess who's back?
So,
nope.
Oh, no.
It's not Omnicron.
So. Oh, okay.
and a lot of this stuff evidently happens in the first game. And I didn't play the first game, so all this is like I'm new to this world. I have no idea how these mechanics work.
Very well, like the backstory of the first game in the second game.
Yeah.
So this is Nexomon 2 then?
This is Nexomon Extinction.
I didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
I think the first Nexomon wasn't as widespread in terms of...
It was not.
It didn't come to as many platforms, so it's only on PC, and it just came to PC this year, but it was exclusive to mobile before that.
And it is a terrible port to mobile.
So should I play the first one on PC? Or?
I bought it. I just started it. I don't know if you should play the first one.
I think from what I can tell so far of Extinction, it throws back. So I started the first one on my phone. I've played through not quite a bit, but some of Extinction. And it seems like these things, like I knew this about the beginning story from what it's told me at the beginning of Extinction. So it's kind of throwing you back because it knows, like 10 people have played Nexomon.
Yeah.
So it's like telling you, even though you don't need to know.
That's fair.
It gives good. And like, I'm feeling the same. Like I'm getting to understand the world. I'm not that far in. Like I'm just getting hooked. I'm really intrigued, really liking it. I mean, over the past 2 days, I pretty much played it all day because Ryan got it for me. He's like, you should play it while listening.
You should play it. Here's a gift card.
Okay, I'll get it. And then I've been playing it, and it's really fun.
So the original tyrants that ruled the world, like I said, those are gone. But there are tyrants that exist in the world now that are companions with renegade trainers. So there's a trainers guild that you become a part of. Tamers Guild, Tamers Guild that you become a part of. And the Tamers Guild are working to defeat the tyrants to create a balance and create peace in the world, basically, because it's tyrants against tamers, and it's been that way for a millennia. Now, like I was saying, the original tyrants, those ones are gone. There are new tyrants that you are fighting.
So wait, Frick, there were 1,000 years ago they were fighting these things. The last game took place 1,000 years before this
we don't know.
The way it seems, yes, some sort of long period of time between the two games.
And so you get attacked by a dragon in the woods, and then you duck into this hole, and you get a vision of one of you don't know what he is yet, but you get a vision of a guy talking to you, and You walk
Keanu
up.
Reeves. It's Johnny Silverhand.
It's Johnny Silverhand.
The fuck up, tamer. We got Pokemon. I mean, Nexomon to catch.
And the cat's like, dude, you're talking to a fucking ghost.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Why are we talking to a ghost right now? We should probably get out of this hole.
Yeah. This is a situation you don't want to find yourself in.
Did you guys interact with the creepy tree?
Yes. I did the quest for the creepy tree.
Coco's reaction. Let's just pretend this didn't happen.
So in that hole, you find a picture of the original 9 tamers that beat the original 9 tyrants.
Dang, it's lasted 1,000 years.
And we don't know why it's there.
Oh.
And you don't know why you were attacked by a dragon. Like, all this stuff is mysterious when you're in the first part of the game.
Alrighty.
So as you continue through and you're leveling up your Nexomon and you're getting a little bit further in the story, you learn that they think that you were attacked by a dragon because you're a low-level trainer and the dragons are going mad for some reason. And eventually you learn that you're attacked by a dragon because you are...
Heavy spoilers.
It looks like you're reading off the Wikipedia right now.
I'm not...
Don't go too crazy.
I don't know how far I want to go into
That's
it.
a good tease. That's a good tease.
So the dragons are going mad, and the tamer of the dragons doesn't understand why they are attacking you, because there's a couple of different spots in the game where they attack you, and it's like, well, fuck, are you just in the wrong place at the wrong time? Or is there something about you that is drawing these dragons towards you?
You're an
Which
ancestor.
they kind of give hints in the beginning that
There are little hints that,
yeah.
like, maybe there's something about you, but they never come out and say it until later in the game. So you know something's
forward
up.
to.
And there's always, but there's little hints, but there's also little hints the other direction where it was like, oh shit, well, maybe I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Eventually you learn that the dragons were created by the humans, the Tamers Guild, to take down the tyrants. So they bred Nexomon, they bred like fierce, vicious, particular types of Nexomon in a program to defeat the tyrants.
On a island that's only inhabited by dragons.
Yes.
Dragon Island.
Yep.
I believe it's called.
And I think it is Dragon Island. So they created the dragons to take down the tyrants, and the dragons are really powerful Nexomon, but there's other types of Nexomon that are, I mean, for what you're going to play in the game, also pretty powerful. So that part of the story doesn't make a whole lot of sense because you don't get superpowered dragons that fight for you necessarily. But in the lore of the game, the dragons are the next step up above the Nexomon. They're super powerful Nexomon. And this is kind of a huge revelation because nobody knew where the dragons came from. It was like one of the things that, like, dragons were discovered 15 years ago, but nobody knows why the dragons weren't around before then. So you learn that the dragons were created and they were like bred in such a way to recognize one of the tyrants, one of the existing tyrants, as Omnicron. So there's like this weird part in the story where you learn that the dragon tamer, she has a tyrant that she can control, and it happens to be like a pretty docile tyrant. It doesn't want to take things over. It just, actually, it ends up sleeping most of the game. She uses her dragon Eros as like a threat towards the dragons if they misbehave.
What's the Nexomon's name?
Eros.
Eros? Like erotic?
I think it's, I guess it's Eros.
Trying to get at Sam.
EURR.
Erotic.
But no, not like.
Oh, not like Eros, like the, okay, gotcha.
So, like, that's a huge revelation.
I just thought it was
in the
like,
story.
okay. I was like, okay, if we're going with that.
I don't think it's that adult.
Okay.
No, it's not that adult. So, like, the things that make it different from Pokemon is the grandiose scale, I think, of the story that it's telling, because it's been like a century that this stuff has passed, and a lot of it turns into like, is it lore? Is it is it real? Like, you don't know if the stuff that you're hearing from people is actually true or if it's been diluted by the time span that has passed.
Yeah.
And the way that they bring it together is just fucking phenomenal. When I started this game on a Sunday night and I stopped playing it at 2 a.m. on Monday, woke up at 8, started playing it again, played it from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m., went to bed, streamed it some more on my phone, fell asleep at 3, woke up the next day at 9, played it again for the entire day. Like, I didn't eat.
I thought you looked a little
barely
sickly.
slept.
So,
like,
not to interrupt, but
go ahead.
The week before Game of the Year, where we are right now, Ryan usually has that week off of work. He did this again. He usually uses that to catch up on the games in our backlog, okay? And get different opinions on those games. We did that last year. I suggested this game to him. He's like, well, Troy suggested this game. He says it's pretty good. I'm going to try that game first. I took over his whole week.
Yeah. I played this game
nothing
nonstop
else
for like 4 days.
I need to play it.
At the end of Thursday, like
It's
Thursday,
on everything.
Yes.
Thursday at 4 p.m., I said to Rachel, I walked into the office. She was playing World of Warcraft. And I go, hey.
And then you passed out.
And she's like, hey.
Where have you been?
I hadn't talked to her like almost at all. Like, I'd just been playing this fucking game. I get up, play this game, and I go, I gotta stop playing that game. And she goes, she kind of looked at me funny, and I was like, my hands hurt, my arms hurt, my shoulders hurt, my legs hurt. Like, I have done nothing but sit on the couch and play this game for days.
Shoot, you're like, how,
And
like, what's his name? The guy with the
I was
airplane?
in physical pain that I like. I had played this game so much. So I remembered some of the story stuff looking at the achievements. So pretty early in the story, you find a tyrant egg. And eventually in the story, I kind of forgot this part. That's the reason why the dragons are attacking you, is because they want to take down the tyrant that's in the tyrant egg.
Makes sense.
And so they're chasing you throughout the game in all these different places. And you have to take this tyrant egg into these caverns and talk to the spirit embodiments of the original tyrants and capture their power by defeating them in a Nexomon battle. And when you defeat them in the Nexomon battle, their power gets sucked into the egg, and now you can do having the egg allows you to do the thing in the world that their power allows you to have. So the first one you get is an ice power, and it allows you to freeze segments of water so you can walk across it. There's a fire one that allows you to melt away vines or melt away ice that is preventing you from getting into locations. There's a air one that in certain spots you can hit the boost button and you can boost to different parts of the map that you couldn't previously access. So by gaining those powers, it allows you to retread.
It's your HMs.
It's your HM, exactly, 100%.
That's what I was going to say.
It's your rock
Or
smash.
it's your things in Zelda,
Yes.
you know, that let you get through those maps
yeah.
differently.
Yeah.
So it
The
gives you
bomb.
reasons to retread like caverns and stuff that you've done before to try and get different things that you haven't found. And like, I was pretty intrigued by that tyrant egg. I'm like, okay, I want to know where this goes. Like, are the dragons real? Are they real Nexomon? And like, learning they're created is super cool. But the lady that controls the dragon still isn't 100% sure why your tyrant egg should be more powerful than the thing that they think is Omnicron. So when they were created, like I was saying, they think Eris is Omnicron, so they shouldn't attack the tyrants if he says not to.
Yeah.
And
oh, I see. So they were going after the most powerful thing, and they went after your egg,
And
which
so
is
it's like,
supposedly more powerful.
oh
than-
shit,
yeah.
I guess the egg is more powerful
Don't let that thing hatch. Make an omelet.
Exactly. So the guild, the Trainers Guild, does not want any tamers to interact with tyrants. As soon as you interact with tyrants, you become a renegade and you're an enemy of the guild, because the guild wants to take down all the tyrants that exist, except for Eris, because Eris works for them.
Yeah, but your tyrant's really cute, though. I bet. Isn't it?
So, well, it's just an egg.
Oh, okay.
So
It's pretty cute
the
egg.
guild is
Cute
like,
egg.
why do you have that thing? You should not have that. And they're skeptical of the tyrant egg the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But since it hasn't actually hatched into a tyrant yet, you're kind of off the hook. You're like, you can play both sides. Like, you can work towards getting a tyrant, but they'll allow you to be a part of the guild until such a time as you make a choice to hatch the tyrant egg, is the way that the story is framed.
Hashtag hatch the tyrant egg.
And exactly. So I'm like, well, I'm going to work towards that. Like, I want the most powerful beast that all the dragons want to attack. Like, I want the tyrant of tyrants. So you learn the tyrant egg is like Omnicron's egg. Like, so
He's spoiling now.
evidently,
He's spoiling
he
now.
evidently
He's spoiling.
had an egg
okay with
before he
this.
died.
I'm not.
Hey,
I'm okay
now.
with this.
We're getting okay. It beats Cyberpunk. Okay, you won. That's all we needed to know.
So if it beats Cyberpunk, I'm good with that, and I'll
Yes.
stop now.
I would
That's
say
fine.
so.
Is everyone good with that?
Yep.
Do you think that wins story? It sounds like it. Everyone had a lot to say about Nexomon right there.
Ryan, does it beat Moons of Madness?
100%,
Your two games.
All right.
Nexomon is best.
Nexomon is the best story. Everyone agree?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Dark horse.
Well, and that's what I told. Like, I sent out in the group chat earlier, like yesterday. I was like, just so you guys know, there is a sleeper that nobody knew about until like the middle of last month, and I created this monster, and I am in love with it.
Yeah.
Oh, we know.
So Nexomon, what's 2 and 3? Does it matter?
No, just Nexomon best story.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Just leave it as best story. It's fine.
All right.
There's no order.
So we can.
Let's just do top 5 now. Let's just run in there.
I would advocate for a break though.
Yeah,
Can we
break.
take a break?
Break.
I think right after the break, maybe. So I have some gifts for coming to. Well, they're kind of Christmas gifts, but also gifts for coming to the pod for Idiot Royale for everybody. So
All right.
So sweet.
we'll pass those out after
Before
the
we're
break.
like falling asleep.
Yes.
All right. We'll be back right after the break with some more discussions on exactly what we're doing for Game of the Year here.
Stay beautiful, my friends.
BRB.
BRB. Bro.
We are back from break.
Why would you say it?
Because you told me to bring us back.
Okay,
You gave me that rule.
The Vidya.
okay, we need to keep that in. That's funny.
Because you told me to.
Okay. Okay, fine. Troy, you go ahead and bring us back from break.
And we're back from break, guys.
Thank you, Troy.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing us back from break.
I am the host for that little part right there.
We have a man down.
Actually, last year, Colin brought us back from break, and I thought it sounded really nice.
Yeah, not me.
Colin has an excellent voice.
What did I say? Like,
I don't remember.
And we're back
It was
from
just,
break.
it was just something super simple, like, and we're back from break, listeners. We're still talking about Game of the Year. And I was like,
we're back from
Colin
break.
brought us back from break.
Let's continue talking.
Was it
about
cute? Is it cute that because I'm the youngest one? Yeah.
The little boy.
Oh, he's growing up so fucking fast. Ain't he?
The little boy will bring us
What
back
grade
to
are
our
you
game
in
talk.
today?
All right.
Welcome. Welcome.
Let's talk about, well, we want to get to the rest of these games, and I think we're going to have to split this into a 2-parter.
Yeah.
And I'm really sorry, you guys. I thought we could do it in one this year, but it
I knew we
appears
couldn't.
It appears we haven't even ran down the full list of games
No.
yet.
No.
So let's do that.
Troy, have the thing.
Gifts.
Gift.
Oh, yeah.
Gift.
I'm
Gift,
sorry.
gift.
Troy brought gifts for everybody.
Yeah.
Not GIFS, but GIFTS.
Yes.
GIFFS.
Gifts.
See, if you
Gifties.
speak English correctly, you'd be able to say the T at the end.
Everybody make a gift pose.
Gifts.
Hi.
No,
Ryan.
Okay, mine's
That's
wrapped.
a box.
I have a gift for Ryan.
Baby
This guy.
shark.
Okay,
guy-
I have a gift here.
You want to open yours first?
Do you want me to do it
Yeah,
now? Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Open
This
it.
is
Open
Troy's,
it.
and it's Baby Shark. Is that what this
Baby
is?
shark,
do 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 baby shark do
What
do do do
did
do
I
baby shark do 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 baby shark.
remix.
See? Yeah.
Oh my God! It's a cube. Ah!
Cubone.
It's a massive, massive Cubone.
That's life size.
It probably is life size.
Oh, that makes it
actually.
even better.
Let me get it in the camera here.
That
this is
gonna
amazing.
be-
Troy, that's really thoughtful.
Thank you,
display
Troy.
piece.
This is one of my favorite Pokemon. Thank you, dude. Seriously.
Yeah.
I was actually bummed that I didn't get this for Christmas because I sent it to my mom too, and I was like, "Hey, you want to buy me this?"
We know who loves you more.
Ain't kidding. Ain't kidding. Coming at you, Linda.
Thank you, man. This is
Troy's
amazing.
trying to start another relationship.
I gotta find somewhere to.
Do you guys need to be alone for a minute?
All right.
Yeah, to fight.
I like doing missions with you, Ryan.
So next up, I got this thing here for Phil.
Oh dear.
Phil, this is nicely wrapped. Thanks to the Etsy store for this.
God,
This thing-
wax.
Did you wrap that, or was that?
It came from the Etsy place.
Oh,
That's
Do I do the letter first?
So you aren't crafty. Okay.
Yeah. Open the letter.
I want it to not rip.
He got us gifts. And we're just gonna roast him. we already accused him of having a sexual relationship with Ryan or pursuing one.
Dear adventurer, quest complete. Congratulations. The bearer of this certificate is a first print run supporter of the unofficial Legend of Zelda cookbook. What? It's dangerous to cook alone. Take this. What?
Yeah.
I'm going to read this in a second, but I
know what's in the
wanna-
package
yeah.
though.
What's in the box? Hey, get in my box.
Know me too well.
The man who loves to cook and loves Zelda
Wow,
just
that is
as much. And,
cool.
and that is a rarer one because there is some sort of defect in the hardcover of that book.
Okay.
So it's a first run defect.
Nice.
I like defects.
I will say it was like $1 cheaper, but it was like also this is rare.
So, this says for Link. Yeah. Not
That's how Link speaks. Yes, I get it.
And for all those who find courage when stepping into Link's shoes, I hope these recipes help to transport you back to Hyrule with an ocarina in one hand, a trusty sword in another, and a kingdom worth saving.
And the other.
Very nice.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I
Are
was
these-
excited to see this.
Are these actual
That's
recipes?
funny. I'm looking.
Themed menus and
conversions.
recipes. Yeah.
Yiga clan menu. Yiga pursuit. 1 cup cream of coconut, 3 ripe bananas, quarter teaspoon ground cinnamon, alcoholic. Ooh. 2 tablespoons dark rum.
Well, I know what we're doing for part 2.
Yeah. We're gonna do a live cook show with Idiot Savants, starring
Quiche.
Rachel Ray.
Royal apple sorbet.
So these sound
Vegan.
like actual recipes
Yes.
versus
Yeah.
recipes from Breath of the Wild,
Yes.
and I'm a little bummed.
So
I want an actual cookbook of the recipes from Breath of the Wild.
as Philip is perusing, I have
You realize most of those things would probably be like animal that you
Samuel.
cannot find on Earth.
Sammy the Babby.
Baba boy.
Oh, that whole bag's for me?
Yeah, Troy wrapped yours pretty well.
That's how I rap.
Troy, this is super thoughtful.
I know Sam.
True balancing code.
Oh, I've seen that. I was looking at that the other day. I was literally looking at that on Amazon. the
No,
other day.
it's got to be all the way in there, Sam.
It's
you
stuck in
gotta-
the plastic.
Yeah, you got to do it without the plastic. Cheating.
So there's more in there, Sam.
There's more?
It's like nearly
And
impossible.
wait, there's more.
What? Apples to apples Marvel. Yeah.
See?
Dude, that sounds pretty
So
legit,
everybody else
actually.
is like super gamer, super. Sam doesn't play games. He needs some stuff to do.
Who's this guy? Is that the Jolly Green Giant?
COD games. He's basically Amish at this point.
Yes.
This Catwoman.
He's basically, he bought my PC. How is he basically Amish?
They buy them and then they resell them.
Angry Tree.
Yeah, he made money.
Angry Tree.
You
Yes.
got, is that Tickman?
Tick man.
So
Captain
Is that a game
Star-
we're going to play on the pod, Troy?
Captain
Is it a pod game?
A-Star.
I think we should play
There he
the
is.
game with Sam and teach him what this actually
Oh,
means.
That's what we're gonna do.
All
Game
right.
nights with the Idiot Savant.
We can do that.
Next up is my boy Austin here. You have to spend the thing on top on Nexomon.
Come on.
That has to
Oh,
go towards
okay.
like it's not.
Oh.
I didn't buy the full game for you.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
I gotcha. PlayStation,
Go,
$10.
Like get it when it's on sale right now.
It
so
is
get
on sale for $13.
That's so
okay.
cool. Slime making.
And
what?
then poop slime,
Poop slime, poop slime.
slime making.
Show it to
parodies?
that is Splatter Man, and I got that from the gas station. There was
my nickname in high school.
So that I believe is the rare because there is one at the gas station still that was like plain painted, and that one was shiny. So
This is a shiny.
You found a shiny Splatter Man.
He eats those pedos there,
Oh, yeah, I saw
and you you add this texture
choking
to
on
it.
his drink.
You feed that to him, shake him up, hit the button on the bottom, and he poops into a toilet. Some slime you can play with.
Ew. You play with Spider-Man's poop.
Yes.
Does that say Despicable P on this side?
There's a couple of other ones, yes, in the set.
Despicable P.
In the set.
And there was
Collect them all.
There was an
Man.
incredible
Poops like a Spider-Man.
There's Harry Potter. Yeah, there's
It's Harry
everybody.
Pooper. It's Harry
Yes,
Pooper.
he can.
Harry Pooper.
There's a toilet and it's sticky. Look out! Here poops the Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's cool. I don't know what I'm gonna do tonight.
Oh boy. I totally haven't seen it.
He's been guessing all day trying to figure out what this is.
Oh my gosh. It is an iHome Baby Yoda speaker.
The Mandalorian himself has
It's called
to
the
have
child. It's technically
the
not Baby
child.
Yoda.
the Mandalorian
Don't say the
himself
name.
over
Some
here.
people haven't seen it yet.
Yes.
Is this like iPhone?
I mean, it's
Is
just
it iOS
it's just,
or just?
it's just a Bluetooth
Oh, it
speaker.
just says iHome.
I hop.
I want to listen to it.
Not on the pod.
Ryan, let's
to
get
the
this
pod.
plugged
You
in
can
and
play
hooked
the
up.
pod on it.
You can
It's
play the
got-
pod
listen
on
to
it.
the pod on
Bluetooth
it.
wirelessly stream audio anywhere up to 30 feet.
Nice.
Battery, built-in rechargeable lithium-ion battery, cable, charging cable included. That's what we
See?
said.
Sweet.
See?
Ooh.
Cool.
So this is actually kind of interesting. I'm reading in this. It has an ingredient for how to actually make it, and then it says game guide and how it's made in the game.
Nice.
So like
that's
this is
what I was.
Monster.
Yeah, that's cool.
This is Monster rice balls. Purple, see number 1, prepared rice ball, see page 186. 4 umboshi or dried plums, 4 sheets of dried nori or seaweed, salt shaker. Purple color, 2 teaspoons freshly diced beet or monster extract. And then it says game guide, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. Hylian rice, rock salt, monster extract.
Oh, it does tell you how
That's
to do
cool.
the things in the games. That's cool.
I was excited.
You've
to
given
see
me
that.
homework. That is cool.
So
I'm gonna get to make things to freak
Thank you,
people out.
Troy.
Yeah.
Merry
thank you,
Game
man.
of the Year,
Troy.
guys! I
Thank
was
you.
so
He's a
excited.
jolly
to
good
figure this out.
fellow, for he's a jolly
Absolutely
good
amazing.
fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow.
Super appreciate that.
I couldn't wait any longer.
Which we all kind of denied.
Oh,
Until now, we love him.
I redeemed myself.
As Ryan goes,
Now Nexomon and well, there's no Pokemon this year. Shit.
shit.
I did this for nothing.
These were bribes.
I forgot
It's all
Pokemon
right.
come out last year.
I'm accepting like Nexomon can be high up. That's actually good.
Okay, so let's run down the full list here. I don't know how much longer we'll get to this. Like I said, it's definitely going to be
I mean, you
a
might just
two-parter.
run through the list and
You want to do that?
be-
You wanna
yeah,
run
it'll
through the
be
list and
easy
we'll
to
just
cut.
okay. All right. Well, full list: Doom Eternal, Cyberpunk 2077, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War,
Cut it.
Call of Duty Warzone, Saints Row 3 Remastered, The Complex, Nexomon Extinction, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remastered, Ghosts of Tsushima. Is it Ghosts?
Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Spider-Man Miles Morales. Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Demon Souls Remake.
Assassin's Creed New Horizon.
Assassin Crossing.
Animal Horizon.
Animal Crossing New Horizon. Tetris Effect Connected. Super Mario 35.
yes,
And Among Us.
it's okay.
I think Among Us might just be put in a special category of like top
Worst games ever
multiplayer. No, top multiplayer. It is so fun as multiplayer, but you know,
Single player is really not that great.
who's the imposter? It was me.
It was me
the whole time.
I mean, that would win best story, honestly. That's compelling. That's a twist.
That's what I would do with that. 'Cause that's
So
fun.
that'll be our list for next time, I suppose.
Well, I mean, there's a couple we can easily remove.
I think
we-
Sam
it's-
and
it's
I,
best
we
to
want to
cut it
get
like
out of here,
this.
man. We got work in the morning.
All right.
So we're gonna continue this on a part 2. So let's run down what we accomplished today. So best visuals, number 3 was Nexomon Extinction. Number 2, Tell Me Why.
I don't wanna.
Number 1, Demon Souls Remake for best visual.
Yay.
Category 2, best story. Number 3, Cyberpunk 2077. Number 2, Moons of Madness. And number 1, Nexomon Extinction, best story. So we managed to complete 2 categories.
And worst gaming stuff is last.
Next is
of us
just
too.
top
We
5.
already know.
Worst gaming stuff. Maybe we'll get to that if we feel like still talking about that. I mean, that could even be like an after Idiot Royale thing, because we kind of want to focus on games here. But I do want to talk about last year and the shit that happened.
There's a lot of shit.
There was a lot of shit that happened.
We had a customer at work that I worked for a car dealership, and she didn't want to buy a car before January 1st because she didn't want any of her paperwork to have 2020 on it. She literally waited 2 days.
Wow.
They're like, hold the car for me. I'm buying it. I
Right.
just don't want any 2020 on my paperwork. So that's it.
So she just did not want to buy a car in 2020. Like, because it'll be a lemon. The tires will pop and she'll hit a semi. Like,
apparently,
some
like, I don't know.
awful shit.
The car gives people COVID somehow. The COVID producer came straight from Wuhan.
Aren't they made in Kentucky?
Kentucky, China.
Okay.
Chinese car virus.
Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. This has been Idiot Royale 2020, end of the year episode. Thank you, Troy, for being here. Thank you, Phil, for being here. Thank you, Sam, Austin, Colin. Thank you guys for joining me today. I'm sorry. My apologies, Mitch. Thank you for being here,
Honestly,
Mitch.
you haven't talked to Mitch the entire time.
He didn't even address
He comes out sometimes, man. He's just like, hey, man, you know.
You also have not talked to me. I am
Sound like the
Leif
dude
Erikson.
from the Martian dude from Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
I will destroy you.
All right. I've been your host, Ryan Wolf. We're going to get out of here. Have a good night, everyone.
Never playing this shit fucking game again.
That's all, folks.
Ryan, that's
Until now.
Christmas miracle.
I'm the trash man.
What if you said it right there? Said it right there, so it's like in the corner. Yeah, hold it between.
Just put him up in front of your face.
Just have him randomly pop up and down every so often.
You can have
I'm
him
the
in front of
trash
your
man.
face when we do the intro if you'd like.
Okay.
Or just like push it towards the camera. Hold on.
Yeah.
Bring it towards the camera. Like, make sure it's even.
Down there.
Trash man.
The trash man.
Oh, I see that.
That is perfect.
That's right in front.
I feel like I should be like featuring host Ryan Wolf, Pokemaster Troy Osborne, Philbo Swaggins, Sammy the Babby, the Trash Man, Colin.
Yeah, that could work as long as you don't laugh.
No, I'm not
Okay,
gonna do it.
I think
my
that'll work.
money is falling out of my pocket.